Yeah, the view from where we sit is gorgeous, even if we don't fit inside your little portrait. The big picture is enormous, so we don't even have to fit. We after it, true purpose, yeah, we have to get. We mastered it, reporting it live from Black Pew, discussing politics, the culture, and laughing at you. Cause you don't understand the viewpoint, don't mean you up by a few points. You just ain't hip to these new joints we on. The world says to follow they pitch, we set the tone, then we knock it over the fence. Oh yes, it's gone. Them haters screaming loud from the bench. They get the bat and try to copy technique, but they miss the point that I mentioned earlier. I see that you observing the way I strangle this beat. Oh yeah, I'm a murderer. Enough of me, let's get back to this gorgeous view. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Welcome to the Black Pew.
You started already.
Right.
Golly.
You got, look at you. Got your sweat. Got a sweat.
I was just gonna say, did you
glistening?
He got a sweat all rolled up on his forehead. Look at him.
Square cube in a circle hole.
Look at him.
Every week.
Pull that mic closer.
Square cube in a circle hole every week.
Always getting himself worked up. Oh, if you don't quit touching that mic, is it good? Is it comfortable for you?
I was getting positioned in the chair.
Okay, good. I'll just make sure.
I feel like I'm too close.
I did not.
Why don't we have mics that look like yours? I want one like that.
Right.
This mic costs more money.
Okay.
So what you're saying is we not.
Well, it was on clearance actually, so it's like $50. That one, those are like $90. So
that doesn't make no sense.
Those ones are a little bit better than this one.
Oh, okay. Well, I want the.
He just
we want
redirected
cute.
you in so
No,
much.
I like that. Yeah, I was like, what are you trying to?
No, you lied.
But this one does not sound like, when I'm listening to it, it doesn't sound the best. It doesn't sound like you guys. You guys sound like a little bit more clear than mine.
Okay, I can deal with that.
No.
You don't hear it.
You don't hear it. Black Pew podcast. We got some.
Thanks, Mark.
We got everybody in here. Plus, we got a brand new person in here. My man Chris, what's up, man?
What up?
What's going on? Not too bad, man. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
We got Amber.
Hello.
We have Tana.
Hey.
She got the Uggs on.
Are we doing this?
And she got the Uggs on, and they told her, they was like, no, we're just gonna give you the inside. The outside is gonna be clear.
And look who has resurrected from the dead.
I know, right? I know. The person who just disappeared from the planet.
Hey,
It's called life, guys.
She went on one of them space shuttle rides with Jeff Bezos.
She was.
Shoot, I wouldn't have came back.
She
What are you
was
talking
sitting next to William Shatner. Mm-hmm. It was like space.
I can't man, drop something
Some
too far for
Australian
me.
kid.
I know,
I would
right?
not drop that far.
No, I missed y'all. I was like, oh, I missed them.
How was everybody's week? How was everybody's week though?
We had a good week.
Good.
Long.
Subpar.
Well, good
Subpar.
weekend.
Subpar week. Subpar.
Subpar why?
Fantasy football. Dating. You know.
Are you back to dating now too? Are you gonna be a
I don't
professional?
know. I think I'm gonna retire again. I think I'm about to retire.
Yeah, you've been taking some tips from Trey, huh?
Don't do that.
No, that's where I die.
That's where you digress.
I do fine. I just
don't take no tips.
People are crazy nowadays, and you just can't. I'm just cool. Ain't nobody finna drive me crazy, okay? I'm cool.
You got to drive them
football
crazy.
drive me crazy enough, okay? I don't need nobody to drive me crazy.
I mean, it seems to be a reoccurring pattern. Even as
No,
I
no,
talk
no,
to like
no,
my
no,
friends, everybody's talking about dating
Let me tell you
being
what
trash, and I'm like,
the recurring pattern is,
everybody's trash.
the recurring pattern is, I
Everybody
realize
can't
I'm
be
crazy before I get into it. So I'm just like, you know what? This is what I'm able to do. You remember? Okay, I've only seen one. I think this was Twilight, but I only seen one Twilight movie, right? And because in the credits they said it was going to be this huge fight scene, which really didn't happen to the end. But I don't know if anybody's seen it in the Twilights. There was this one point at the end when they was about to fight, and then they showed the person the whole fight and what would happen if they fight. And he was like, you know what? I'm cool. I think God has granted me with the ability to do that in relationships. So I will go on a date with you, and I will be like,
foresight.
and then it's like, boom, I get that foresight. I'll be like, woo, 3 years down the road, oh, this is what it's gonna be like. You know what? Check this out. I don't want to do that 3 years. I don't want to do that for 3 years. Like.
How do you know that they don't have that power and they see that about
Okay,
you?
we got some.
Oh no! What
in
you
the
talking
building.
about? If they had that
they
power
get
to
to
see
skipping
them,
and running.
I wouldn't be blocking them. I wouldn't be blocking them from my phone if they had that power. They
Giving
would
them
be
the
calling
You
me,
need to be in your
asking
phone.
me,
The
What
Heisman.
happened? I thought we had a good time. No, I'm just not a bad host. I'm a great dater.
I was just saying that it's just interesting to talk to women
And I'm a
other
gentleman.
men and just hear that everybody is complaining about dating.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
gentleman. I'm
believe
very
that.
man. I will. Let's go into the topic.
I was just gonna
That
say,
was
Trey.
our topic this week.
Well, you see, you're right when you say a lot of people
A
complain
lot of
about
people are
dating.
complaining about
Yeah.
being trash.
Let's go into the topic.
Yeah,
Let's go
yeah.
into the
A lot of
topic.
people complain
Everybody
about
can't be
dating.
trash.
Yeah.
Why do y'all think
No,
everybody's
first text I got today.
Daters, and
Time
how come
out,
everybody's trash?
time out. Everybody's not trash, but
I wouldn't know. I haven't been in the
but
dating world. In
you
a
have
while.
to go
Right.
through like a
In a
sea
minute.
of trash to find like the jewel.
I'll take it.
And so I get that, you know. And so I'm not saying everybody's trash. It's just like, damn, like why I run through all these people? Like why I go through all this? Like why do I gotta meet you? Like why are you the speed bump in getting to my destination?
How do you think those people are thinking the same damn thing?
They're not thinking the same thing.
Like,
They
damn
wouldn't be
it,
calling me.
Oh.
They wouldn't be calling me. I am.
You don't be
I am
call-
rejecting calls and blocking texts.
So
and,
you
and
don't
blocking
call
people
them?
from my phone. No.
I feel like
I'm
your
tired of
foresight
this.
should come
Look,
before you
I'm
get their
like,
number
serious.
and get yours out. You know.
The foresight is like. Once I get the foresight, I'm really like, why am I on this date? And so I
It hit
but
you
I'm
right
not
for that
giving
check
you that.
come?
I don't
Look.
give you that vibe.
That's
I'm
too
an
late.
amazing dater. Like if a girl goes on a date with me, she's gonna have the time of her fucking life. That's just what it is.
So the professional
Regardless of if I
dater
like
and
you
now
or
the
not,
amazing
I'm
dater.
gonna have
Right.
to do
All right,
amazing.
then.
I'm sorry that I'm a great host. Okay, let's go on.
Wow, he sound like Dave Chappelle.
But we got 3 people in here who don't really have to date because these 2 are married,
Yep.
and this one's married too.
Yeah.
My experience, I didn't even bother for like years until one day she contacted me and
POF baby, boop boop boop.
See,
Yeah.
they got. I mean, that's like the Notebook type shit. You feel me? I'm like, cool, I get that. You feel me? But that's just not my path. That's not, that's not my path. And I get it. I know people who've been married today, been married for almost 30 years. They met through the newspaper. Like that's, like
That's dope.
That's
that a warning?
that's some
From the-
PS I love you type stuff. I get it. You feel me? But that's just not mine. You feel me? Like
when it comes, it comes.
Yeah. Oh, I just like I'm.
You
swimming
keep
through the
blocking
sea
them,
of-
though.
No,
You're
I'm
right.
doing a swim
Blocking all
of,
your blessings, bro.
dogfish and all that. You feel me?
You probably didn't let
I'm
her
just-
finish the sentence. She started out crazy. You didn't let her get to the end of it.
Oh
Mar.
no, I let her get to the end of it. Believe that.
Did you let her have her own opinion?
She's always.
I'm joking.
Check this out.
She's got to be just as crazy
I'm
as
a
him.
fill out person.
That's how
see
that
this.
works.
I'm a fill out person.
You ain't gonna roll out.
I'm a
if you
fill-out
can't
person.
Handle his punches. That's for sure.
Oh, they don't even know I'm that crazy yet. So
Oh,
that's
you-
what I'm saying.
you
I
don't give them the
unleash
full
crazy
blown-
yet. I don't
Oh, so
unleash
you
the crazy
catfishing.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm catfishing for real.
Yeah.
Oh, you catfishing.
I'm personality catfishing for real. I don't believe that. Believe it. But that don't see. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't give out the red flags because they're still calling me. If you ain't calling somebody you don't want to be with,
Come
you
on,
feel
Diddy.
me? But I am.
Difficult.
I'm deflecting.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
The
gonna say
wrong D.
I was just-
Deflecting. So, first topic is the black dollar.
Marv said this will not be about me
I
today.
know.
Yeah, because y'all got life coach sitting over here. She's taking notes. You
No,
feel me?
I was out checking my message.
Yeah, she's taking notes.
She was
like,
checking her messages and
trying to
like,
get her little database.
Yeah,
like,
she-
up, client under. I got a client on the way. You feel me?
Wow.
So it's like up.
At 3
She
p.m.
gonna
just
send me.
opened.
She's about to send me a quote. Be like, boop.
Oh my.
So sending you devotionals every
Right,
day.
right.
Devotion.
this one.
Okay.
I am
With an invoice at the end of
I am
it.
great. You feel me?
Termination.
I'm going to kill today. You know?
Wow. I don't think that's what she sent. Look,
I am 6'5".
you gonna catfish yourself.
But the first topic on the docket is about the black dollar, and I wanted to talk about it because we're supposed to have somebody else on that was going to talk about money, but I wanted to talk about it, still talk about it, because I feel like a lot of times we see companies, they pander to black people for the black dollar, quote unquote.
Niggas don't save. Next topic.
Oh.
Well, and then I feel like they pander to us for the black dollar, but it's like, really, are we really spending money with some of these companies that try to quarter us or try to get our attention? Or we're already spending money regardless if you pander to us or not.
We're spending money with these companies.
Regardless.
That's why they are Black Lives Matter, Juneteenth, and all that. We don't save money. That's one thing that we know. Black people don't save money. But at the same time, we realize that at the beginning of this country, we were low on resources, and our counterparts had all the resources, and we were trying to live up to this image that they had already established. And so that has been, for whatever, some odd 100 years, us just playing catch up. So all these brands that they established, we spin with because we feel that makes us seem as equal to our counterparts. And so that's why they always pander to us, and that's why the black dollar is always marketed towards.
And it's been proven that we're good consumers, especially the black woman. As we discussed last week, with us having more jobs and we're getting education, we're starting businesses. It says, I've read, I can't think of, I'm not going to APA quote or cite or nothing, but it did say, I had read that, that black women are specific, really good consumers. We buy, we're loyal, we're constantly spending money. And even though we might be the bigger victims of quote unquote poverty, we're still constantly shuffling out for, like you said, that appearance of having. Right. And so it is important for them to pander to us, because even though we might not always have it, we're always going to spend it. And they know that. And so if we get you guys on our side, then we know you're going to spend the money. Because I know that if we were to really stop, it would make a difference. Because that's
what started cancel culture. If you think about it, that's what really started cancel culture. Because especially now in this recent era, they fire people based on what their consumers are going to react, how their consumers are going to react. So you look at Jeopardy. Everybody wanted LeVar Burton to host it, but then the executive producer, he steps in, and then he says something in his past that is, offensive to a group. What do they immediately do? They fire him, because if they keep him, then you lose ratings, you lose money, sponsors back out because they see people aren't backing you. And so that's why right now we're in a Black Lives Matter era. And so anybody who you don't have to initially support the cause, but if you aren't putting like that stamp out there and saying BLM or we support Juneteenth, if you're not saying that or being vocal about that, then people are going to eventually pull out and say you're not on our side, and they have to do that.
They use social media to track you that way too.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, but I think also that the black women, like say that when they say black women are better consumers or whatnot, but what do they get? What do we get in return for that?
Nothing. But but this business is not worth to give you anything in return. They're covering their profit margins and exactly and making sure that their shareholders are happy. That's all that matters in business. So I'm not doing this service to you for you to benefit from it.
True.
Which is hilarious, because if you benefited from it, then you can also give more and continue the cycle.
Which you would think is true, but in reality, is it? Because that's why these companies are so big, because they have obviously learned something that most of us don't know about ourselves, and that's when it comes to the key of marketing. So they've realized that even if they continue to hurt us, we'll continue to hurt ourselves to be a part of whatever they got going on.
True.
Yes.
And so. With that being said, like why would they do anything to benefit you? Because their idea is, how do we continue to make more money?
Right.
Yeah.
And
if
They're smart about it. That's why they have so many social media influencers that look like us now. They're thicker, they're browner. You know what I mean?
Of course.
They got us out there, and then we see that they're getting all this free items and merch, and so it's like you feel like they're doing they're doing something for at least one of us. You know what I mean? And so that's where we shop because we know, oh, that does look good on our bodies now. You know, so they know what they're doing.
I never thought about that. It looks good on one of us, so all of us support that
Yeah,
one.
because now for me, when I'm looking on YouTube, because I Google everything and YouTube everything before I order, and so I will go all the way through YouTube until I see somebody who has about my shape.
Same.
And so I can be like, okay, that's how it's going to look on me, if not better or if not a little worse, and I can work with that.
Never even shopped like that.
Because you're not a
You're not a
woman,
plus-size
sir. That's why
woman.
women. Yeah. First of all, you're not a plus size woman. That right there.
I
you know.
was just talking about shopping. I just go in there and grab off the shelf.
Baby, you can go off and grab an A.
I
and you can-
apologize. I misspoke.
it's
My
just
bad.
different.
See, this is what happens in cancel culture
Well-
right now. You feel me? I'm not saying y'all trying to cancel me, but see, you say
Thought
something
about
wrong
it.
automatically, and the people just take it like, I'm sorry. I was just saying I don't shop
It's
like
just
that.
not as
Saying it
easy.
just, it's different.
And
I-
there
I
are
know
people
it's
that
different.
never
Never
catered
catered
to
to
Mark.
Check this out. Check this out. And I already know it's different because there's so many more aspects of shopping that y'all got to do than I have to do.
That's right.
I get it. I was just saying. I
Now
never
they
thought
love
of
us. They
it-
done added
I was
stretch
just
to
saying. I
jeans
never
and
thought of it
everything.
like that because
Before
I
when no
never have to
stretch.
do that. You know, I don't.
And they
be
do
like,
the whole
oh,
demonstration.
It's one of those
Wiz
added-
Khalifa, where's that? So
It's one of those out of sight, out of mind. It's not,
Yeah,
you didn't have to, because it doesn't
definitely.
affect you. You
Definitely.
don't have to be mindful of it.
Definitely.
But me too. Let's say being plus size,
Definitely.
and I'm tall, and so there's certain things that I have to. Okay, what is this really going to be that long? It's not. It's going to be half as long. so
Definitely, but see,
I
that's
feel
what
the
I'm
other
saying,
way
like,
because
I
I'm
kinda
short,
get it.
and so they have those jeans that flare out at the back. I can't wear that. I'm gonna look. Stop.
I
It's
get
a
it. Like
logo, yeah.
my aunties and stuff, they shopped that Lane Bryant's, and you feel me? Like they was on the
That was
bigger,
all
bigger
we had.
side.
We had Lane Bryant. Y'all had
get it.
Express. Y'all had
I don't know
Victoria's
about-
Secrets.
I
Y'all
thought
have it
Express
all.
was for
Boy,
girls,
you
but you feel
Express
me?
is
I
definitely
ain't-
for men and women, and they definitely.
Well, I thought
carry
it was for
a
girls
lot of
and then
trendy suits for men.
metrosexuals. I thought, you feel me? Well, ain't guys metrosexuals? That's straight. That's just like you.
Well,
Yeah.
Express-
Dude, you just don't see a lot of African American men shopping in there
hold
back
on,
in the day.
Hold on, check this out. I'm actually being politically correct.
No, you're
Y'all
good.
hitting me for being politically correct.
Yeah,
no,
We hear you, sir.
Well, no,
No, you're not.
I actually appreciated the terminology.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. I was just like, oh, okay, no, you're right. But okay.
Yeah,
I
at
was
least
like-
he ain't throwing out the ABCs.
Hey,
today.
I'm trying to get better. Dave Chappelle helped me. Okay. I've
Did he?
learned. Yes,
But
he did. There
no,
has been a
but you're
human
right in like
experience.
Express. Like I can't go into one of them stores.
I
Like,
never been
they
in.
got
That's because
size-
they're not catering to plus size men.
I know. They're not tall people. You can't.
I got
if-
excited when I saw
over-
18 in their store. I was like, look at God.
Over an XL, you can't go in them
But
stores.
who's 18 isn't
Like,
really?
People are-
It's
How
not
about
so I
how
have-
about being in between?
I do have trouble
where they
shopping.
don't have your sizes.
Yep.
They're not in the plus sizes and not in the.
Oh,
the
yeah.
I do have
I've-
trouble shopping for two things: shoes and pants, because my legs.
Your length.
So they don't make. It's hard to find pants my leg length. You know, so they usually make them shorter.
Well,
and
that means
so-
you just gotta go get some stuff custom made, bro.
Nah, you
That costs money.
No,
It
but
sure
online,
does. Bill Gates.
online
I
is where
mean,
online is where they have a lot of.
I'm not Barney Stinson.
That's what I'm saying. But when you go online, you don't know what it's going to look like on you.
True.
That's why
it just
as women,
depends. They do
True.
those
now doing
demonstrations and
all that.
stuff.
I just need to look
For
at the
you
dimensions.
online now.
I just need to know the
They
dimensions.
literally are trying stuff
on
in
one
a
skinny
video.
person.
No, they're actually doing
No, I
on the
hear what
videos
you're
I'm
saying.
seeing. They're the
representation
smaller
for certain
size.
people
Yeah.
is very,
less,
very,
but I'm
very,
saying it's
very
getting
scary.
better.
And if they're not
That is
skinny,
true.
they're with this tiny waist, these big old boobies and this booty that
Yeah.
they done went and got. We don't have that body, sir.
Right.
Right. That's not plus size.
That's not plus
Right,
size
but
either.
it's not plus
Exactly.
size.
That ain't no size because first of all, your waist is too small for those pants, so you're gonna gap in the back of the pants. Like, come on now.
But the black dollar.
But no, I was actually about to get back to that because what I was gonna say is because she brought up something and it was
My black dollar still
it was
going
the
to it.
influencers and she brought up the influence and I feel like we don't educate people enough what influencers are and what they do because we don't tell people like. Yeah, you may like that because you see it on them, but they probably got it for free and are probably being paid to advertise that.
Yeah.
And so we break our backs to look like somebody who did not even spend $1 to look like that.
But at least they're finally finding people that look like us.
Yeah.
I
That's-
still get that, but still, it's
For
like
Yeah,
my
I
money
think-
and go to
I mean,
because I
when
feel
you-
like they're supporting us. They thought about us.
when you see somebody, you don't
Somebody brought it
recognize.
up because it is changing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you see somebody you don't recognize wearing something, it's one thing. But when you see somebody that you recognize wearing something, it's another. And I think that's another thing that we don't we don't teach. We don't teach what these people do. Like, we don't teach how they make their money. That we just let people see them on TV, and then we go off of that. And we let a lot of people live based off of what their influencers show them from face value, and we don't teach them what their behind the scenes are like. And so that's the thing. We live in this instant gratification life, and so you see something on a Wiz Khalifa or a Snoop Dogg or a Bruno Mars or something like that, and you're like, it's fire, and you know how people feel about those type of people, so you get that because you feel like it gives you a certain type of status. And that's one thing that they have focused on in the black community, because we are very big victims of that, because we play the keeping up with the Joneses and trying to do all that, and we'll spend our last to look like we have. And so that's why they focus on us.
People will spend their rent
and then set up a GoFundMe, try to get their rent money back.
Yeah.
That's that stuff right there. That makes me angry.
Just trifling.
I'd be wanting to set up a GoFundMe just to see.
Wow.
I was thinking about
I'm
setting
gonna set one up. Let me know if y'all got my support.
I was thinking about setting up an OnlyFans, because I thought they were finna shut the
husband said
OnlyFans
no.
down, but they didn't shut it down. I was waiting for all the chicks to start working at McDonald's or something like that, but it didn't happen.
up.
And I was like, well, I guess I might start an OnlyFans.
Originally, OnlyFans was not. That.
It wasn't for that.
It wasn't for that. It was for just people
I taught y'all that
and
too.
artists.
I got all the episodes here. I taught y'all that too.
Oh, all right.
He didn't, anyway, it's
We got
somebody
the
else.
episodes. We got the episodes.
You mentioned it, but you're
I
not.
taught
you
y'all that. Y'all was like,
didn't teach.
and there was a documentary about these three chicks that was on. Like, nah, that did not. That's not what happened.
Mentioned it.
You mentioned it. You didn't teach us. Get it together.
Next subject. Y'all wildin'. We got it on wax. It's cool. It ain't nothing.
Yeah, it's like
I thought
episode-
they were gonna shut it down.
Okay,
though, too,
y'all got
'cause
American history. You feel me? That's what y'all got. You only got bits and pieces. Y'all got American history. Y'all American historians.
Captain
You feel
Planet.
me? Y'all
We got all the
forgot.
answers.
Y'all forgot about the interweavings of the extras of slavery and Reconstruction and all that. Y'all talk about critical race theory. Y'all just talk about
What are you talking about
Christopher
now?
Columbus and
He's
George
trying to
Washington.
say we only know some facts.
Y'all
not
only
all.
talk about partial truths. That's what y'all do. That's what y'all do. American historians.
Thanks,
That's
Mark,
what
for your
y'all are.
time.
It's
Move on.
2 against 1.
I know.
Beat you. We beat you.
Of the American historians. American historians.
We
of
beat
course.
you 2 against
Yes,
1.
of course. American
But
historians.
anyway, let's switch topics.
Yes.
And I want to talk about the second topic was the church. Does the church want to have discussions about priests, pastors who commit sexual sins?
No,
I don't believe they do, sir.
they do not.
Because we had the
That's
priest
just-
scandals in the 2000s. We've had umpteen like in the black church, and then like just caught in white churches, pastors getting caught up in stings and all this stuff. The article that was in our chat about the which one was that? That was the priest. And I just seen something recently. There was one about some Catholic priest. They had to shut down a whole church.
Yeah.
A whole diocese because one dude had touched so many kids.
And then there was one church.
They didn't have a background check on him, but he had a background. That's why.
There was one church where the dude live streamed his little dominatrix act
You
on
a
the
liar.
altar. Yeah,
On the altar?
on the altar.
That's
What?
nuts.
Live streamed it. Yeah, the pastor.
Got a special place in hell for him, baby.
But see, now no, I'll let everybody else talk. Cause I actually
And
do.
here they
I-
are serving God, and then they're
Yeah,
I don't.
but yeah. See, all right.
But I
everybody. No,
but I think can you can we have the conversation does the public want to address it enough to change it? Because I feel like
I think they address it already. I mean, they try to hold the people that they. I mean, for us to see, for me to show you what I showed you means that there's a level of people trying to have a level of accountability. I'm saying you can't really keep everybody accountable for everything that they do. If that was the case, all of us would be in jail, or all of us would be.
has to
And
be
that's the
case by
thing.
case.
So the problem that I have with it is these are unforgivable acts. I get it. But we are also not realizing that the struggles of of a pastor or a priest is way higher than we would have on our day-to-day basis because of the responsibility that they have in the kingdom of God. And so if that be the case, some of the stuff that tempt them, we probably wouldn't even be able to now I probably that you feel what I'm saying, but the devil knows how to tempt you, and so the ability to overcome it at that level may be a lot harder.
We still shouldn't look past it.
I get that,
that's what I'm saying. But that's exactly why we should hold them accountable.
But it's the same thing. It's
because
the same
they're
thing.
in the position that they
It's the same thing when they was getting ready to stone Mary. And Jesus walked up and said, "That who counts the first sin, that who has the sin, cast the first stone." Because we are all guilty of it. The thing is that yes, we should hold them accountable because of the level that they hold in the kingdom. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, to say, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? There's nothing you can do about humans being humans, And we all have our own demons. And if we wanted to create this life where we unshedded everybody's demons, well, all of us would be condemned for everything that we've done. So it's not about. But that's what I'm saying. I get that. But at the same time, like I said,
you should know how to. You got to be upstanding.
If you're caught for what you've done, usually you're held accountable. And so that's all we can do is hold those that we catch accountable and not keep sweeping it under the rug. But to act like these are just one-offs and that this does not, and that nobody's tempted, and that people who have a higher responsibility within the kingdom don't have higher levels of temptations is ridiculous.
No,
I don't think that's even the question. The question is,
so what can you do about it? You can pray for them. That's all you can do.
And hold them accountable.
Exactly.
And now
there can be systems in place for them. Why aren't
and that's why there's so many.
Why aren't there?
That's why there's so many, because he's supposed to be. We're his sheep, like they're put into a place for a reason. They're supposed to be teaching us, and they're teaching the wrong things, and people keep doing what they're saying, and a lot of people are not being persecuted for it.
We're holding them to such high revere that when they do hold things, we act like, oh my God, why would they do this?
Well, they need to be sat down like they do us.
Not realizing that they are a human being. It's the same thing as like a police officer. When these police officers create these heinous acts, the first thing people say is, oh my God, you're a police officer. No, they're a human being. No, and they make mistakes too.
No, I get what you're saying.
And they make bad decisions too. And so my thing is that all you can do is pray for you. When you pray for the leadership of the church, not just a church you go to. You feel me?
That's
pray
understood.
for the leadership of the body of the church,
but that's
because
not the
they
only
need
thing that we can do,
just as much as they on their knees and praying for y'all, and they're in their wooden box giving you Hail Marys for your confessions. You should be doing the same thing for them. But that's what's going on, is that most people are trying to be are looking to their pastors to be intercessors for them, but they ain't intercessor for the head of the church.
But I think that's a true point. But I think also you can have both. You can have the total accountability of the pastors.
I never said
and
that.
The people.
I said that.
I know we didn't say. What we're saying is that I think people are saying, like, because the Catholic Church, it had to. They were so powerful. The Baptist Church is so powerful. These other denominations are so powerful that if a priest or somebody else in their service does something bad, they can shuffle them around. They can move them to different parts. They can shield their past. They can do all these things for the people. Mm-hmm. It's at a certain point there should be, okay, we have to be able to see what they've done in the past. If they're going to be leading, even if they're leading 10 people, or if
some of these people don't even have a record. Some of these people could have the cleanest past that you could even. They'll be squeaky clean. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
The organization knows. They know that they're doing wrong, and they're allowing it to happen. So therefore, the organization is guilty.
They're making the organization vulnerable and not doing anything about it.
I'm not saying any of these things are wrong.
There should be a process in place that they follow.
No, but see what I'm saying. I'm not saying any of these things are wrong. What I'm trying to help you guys understand is that we are talking about things that are ran by human people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That everybody is subject to error.
But you would
You
think
can
that
never
people
create a
hop in a
perfect.
roll.
You can never create a perfect system in this world for everything because the person creating the system is subject to error. Everything
But
has
they're in a
error.
higher
So what I'm
position.
trying to help, regardless of
They
it,
are not supposed to be so eager for
whatever
temptation.
you
That's like
believe,
me
whatever
being a
you-
teacher
and
and me
that's
being
the
a pedophile.
problem.
Like,
That's the
why you
problem.
jump in that role?
That's the problem. Whatever
be
you
looked at.
believe they are
They
not
had that
supposed to be,
expectation.
whatever you
Yeah.
believe that they are not supposed to be is the problem. You're creating what you expect them to be, not understanding that they are human. So what I'm saying
think
is,
that's
instead of
exactly
saying,
what we all know that they are.
hey, I hold you to a higher standard. Why don't you pray for them at a higher standard because of the position
not
that
about
they
where-
hold?
it's not
See,
about
that's what
us
I'm saying.
holding them in a
Nobody's
different
saying
position.
nobody's saying that I've been standing in the gap praying for these people, but everybody wants to condemn them when something happens.
So we shouldn't
they
even
hold
have
themselves
lawyers
at a
then, because
higher.
why are we even holding doctors accountable when they mess up in a surgery?
So
You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
There's doctors that eventually, if you have a track record of messing up in surgery, you lose your medical license. There's accountability for that. We hold so much. We hold people accountable when we catch them being when we catch ill will. But there are people who are able to slither. Look at R. Kelly. Look at R. Kelly
and Bill Cosby.
Look at R.
Everybody
Kelly.
holding them accountable.
They're
but
just
here,
now about to put him. Look, we
What
see
about
a
the mom?
videotape of him molesting a child, and he still walked out of the courtroom.
Amber, what were you about to say though? You were about to say something.
Oh, no, I was going to say, no, I understand what you're saying, that we're dealing with issues like molestation. We need to hold them accountable as people. And hearing that, oh, well, they're a pastor and they shouldn't be. Well, like you said, no, people are subject to error.
Right.
And though I hold you at a higher regard because of your position, at the same time, knowing that you're a person and knowing that you stumbled here, you need to be held accountable. Yes. And that's, so my daughter tells me whatever. Okay, cool. We're going to now the police and we're going to file, and do what we have to do now to get, if I don't go get it my own self. But we're now going to have to go through whatever process we have to go. I'm not going to try to incriminate myself on your microphone.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? But now we have to hold them accountable despite your title.
Right.
Because like you said, those are unforgivable acts. So despite who you are.
despite the title, but then also on top of the title.
But so now that you have
you took that oath.
Thank you.
And
That's
that
why I'm with
means
it.
you are not
You knew what
supposed
it was
to
when
be
you signed up.
susceptible to
Yes.
these temptations like those who didn't take
No,
that
that
position.
doesn't mean that
So,
you're not.
yes,
that means
on
you're supposed to
top
be
of being a
stronger.
human being.
No, we trust you to be stronger towards the temptations than we are. But that does not make you exempt.
Not
And that's
exempt.
what people are
No, not
getting.
exempt.
It does not make you exempt.
We're
And
not
if it does
exempt.
not
We're
make
still
you
human.
exempt, that means that you are acceptable. That you can fall to that temptation. And what
Yes,
what
everybody
I'm
can
saying,
fall
what I'm
short.
saying is, what people do is they eventually, once this person falls to the temptation, they use the title to hold them accountable. And what I'm saying is, they're human beings that are going to make mistakes. Yes, they should be held accountable when they're caught. But what some people, yes, some churches, their people are hiding behind the title. But obviously, that means that there's other people in the church that are pretty much helping them.
Yep.
Or and we've seen that with the R. Kelly trial.
Yeah.
How many people were helping him?
Right.
How many people were enabling him?
Right.
How many people were bringing him children?
Right. That
So
weren't held
so
accountable.
what I'm saying
That's
is
what I was
that it's
talking
not.
about.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a. It's not a. And the thing, when somebody gets caught, that's what everybody do. It's a witch hunt. You go after the one person. Well, who was complicit in this?
Right. I understand that.
But nobody wants to talk about that.
Oh, we didn't say that they
priest.
shouldn't
He's
be
a
condemned.
priest. So, look, and that's what y'all do, and that's not okay because he is a human and he made a mistake. He should go to jail. He should answer for his, but not as the priest, but as a man who did take the trust of somebody and misuse it. Yes.
But as the priest, he still did
He
that.
wouldn't have had that
Yes,
trust
on
if
top
he
of
A lot of
wasn't the
these
priest.
guys are
Police
preying
people-
on multiple.
Police do it. Police people do it.
You don't
See,
get to
y'all
walk
do
away
it
from that.
all the time. People
That's
do
what
it
I'm
all
saying.
the time.
People in
are
leadership and
people.
roles.
Yes.
But I think
People
But
trust
the thing
them.
is we do it, and because we're not in a place of power, we don't want to be held to the same level of accountability. Well, let me open up your closet.
no, but that's the thing about
No!
it. No, here's the
This
thing.
isn't a
Here's the
tit for
thing.
tat.
If
If
you're
you
like,
get caught doing
Like
something,
tit for tat.
it's
Because
for
what
you
we're saying is,
to
no,
be
what
held
we're saying
accountable.
is everything that I do wrong is okay, but because you got caught doing wrong, now you should be held accountable.
no, nobody's saying
what we're
that.
saying.
No, we're saying
No,
no,
we're
because
not.
look here, look right here. If you're an accountant, and you're over a company, and you steal from that company, the money that you're an accountant for, you've done their taxes wrong, and to try to benefit from yourself, you get more time than if I came in and grabbed money out of the register and go and leave the building. Because why? Because you already had access, you already knew where to steal it from, and you also knew how to cover it up. Just like when you're trained, when you are a
that's not what
when you're a soldier.
These are two different conversations.
But
you guys are talking about the consequences of people who got caught. I'm not talking about that.
We're talking about people in leadership.
No, what I'm talking about is all right. What I'm talking about is a person gets caught. Yes, you hold them accountable. But what I'm saying is that we're saying, what can we do about this? Well, what I'm saying is, if you want to take it to that mass scale like that, well, when we unveil what this person do, most of us aren't worried about it because the things that we do that are ill will or the things that we do that are not supposed to do, we are not being called out for. They're not being shown to the world. It is not being projected to everybody. But if that's the case, well then open up your closet. Open up everybody else's closet and then see how you like that. And that's what I'm saying. You can be held just as accountable as a person who got caught. The only difference is they got caught.
The only difference is they're over.
Whatever, Trey. Next
they're
time.
over. It's not
come on, man.
No.
Only difference is
the only difference is
I speed 100 miles down the freeway. If I get to my destination, I got there. But if the police pull you over, you're gonna get the consequences because you got caught. But we both did the same thing.
Okay, but if you're a cop, you get penalized more or less because of your position. No, but you're talking
about the consequences.
No, but we're talking about the person. But that's not what I'm talking about. Just like we're saying, a priest, if they open up his closet and just two people. One person's a priest. No, I'm not. I'm saying you just said if they open up my closet, just like they open up a priest's closet, if they expose mine, they expose his. He's the one leading people. I'm leading myself.
You're comparing the level of consequences. I'm not talking about the level of consequences once you get caught. I'm talking about the only difference is he's being held to consequences because he was caught. You're not being because you weren't.
No, if they hold.
I honestly don't hear that, so that's fine. We can move on.
No, we can't move. You're not the one that determines if the conversation moves on or not. We're still having the conversation.
Well, but what I'm saying, but you can't hear that.
Well, I can't hear what
I can hear what you're saying because I can repeat back to you.
Why aren't we having these conversations about this? Why aren't we holding that person not?
And I'm having
multiple
that conversation
people at a time.
Hold on, I'm having that conversation. The conversation isn't why people should have different consequences because of their level of being caught.
Not just people, but priests. All right. Priests.
The way I see it, if you're presiding over us as a priest, as someone in power, like a officer or a politician or any of this, and you're taking advantage of people, then you're garbage.
Yeah. You have more access to people, just like when the pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit,
unless you're Tom Cruise in the Minority Report, there's nothing you can do about it.
When the pandemic hit, and you had senators who were brought into a closed door meeting, those same senators walked out of that closed door meeting when the pandemic hit in March. They walked out of that closed door meeting. They invested in stocks. Yes. They pulled their money out of stocks, and they put their money into other stocks. Why? Because they had background information. They were not supposed to be doing those things.
Martha Stewart went to jail for that.
Exactly. Yes. But what we're saying is that if you are in a position of power and you use that power, whether you use it for on a grand scale or on a small scale, they traded stocks. Everybody should be able to trade stocks. But they traded stocks with information about the country, about things that were going to happen that were going to be catastrophic. And they should be held in more responsible even more than if you or I did the same thing with his insider information.
Because you have less access.
That's not the point that I'm arguing, because I understand that.
But
the point that I'm arguing, no, that's not the question.
The question is, why aren't we holding these priests accountable by having these conversations?
The question is, does the church want to have the discussion about priests, pastors, and who commit sexual sins? okay, it's not about the level of consequences of you being in charge and me being whoever and me getting in trouble.
Part of having
a
a conversation is consequences, though. You don't just get to talk about it and then move on because you.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is everybody wants to put their feet to the fire because they're caught for their sins, but yours are not being put out there. So what I'm saying is, should we hold you accountable for what you did last week or whatever you weren't supposed to do?
She only over her children.
Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
yes.
Technically,
yes.
yes.
But because we don't know, you feel me? You feel it's okay to crucify somebody else. And that's what I'm saying is that we live in a society where we rather point the finger to take the heat off of everything that we did, and that's why I'm saying that comment.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's my conversation. That's my point that I've been trying to make the whole time.
So with your
Nobody
point,
disagreed, but with your point, priests have a level of power, though we know, and a level of influence. And with that level of influence, you can manipulate a situation to play in your favor. So with your level of influence, you can now, hey, little boy, little girl. And because I trust you, because my mom said that you're the good man, you're the man. This is my daughter used to call church my pastor's house, not his house. But in her mind, he's the one who's standing up and doing all that. Definitely. So my mom said that you're the good guy. So yeah, you tell me to come back to the room. I'm going to come back to the room, not thinking twice of it. Right. And so, like you said, well, we're only holding them to the fire because of the leadership. Yes, because there's a level of influence that you carry that as a saint or just as one of the people in the pews that you don't carry. Is that I was in ministry for 9 years, and so there is a separation there, not because we think we're better, because
the Bible. A sin is a sin.
Correct.
There is no separation in the eyes of God. There's only a separation in the eyes of man because we adhere to this man-made hierarchy that was created, because of the gifts, and so that's the thing. But that's not necessarily. That's far from the truth than what it actually is, and that's what I'm saying.
But doesn't God
talk to trust our
But they
leaders.
talk about gifts and priests and pastor, prophet, apostles, teachers, all of that. So there are those gifts and there are those things. And even when you look at the Levi tribe, who were the priests and all of that stuff, because again, the priests were able to go into the inner court when all of the other people had to sit in the outer court. There was always a system. And so with that being said, all I'm saying is, yes, there needs to be a level of accountability for everybody, period. But you too, because you had a level of influence that maybe Deacon so-and-so or Brother so-and-so didn't have. And so does that mean it's a different accountability? No, it's all the same accountability. All you guys need to go get, whatever y'all feel is necessary. I'm not going to say what I think is necessary. But no, there needs to be a level of accountability there. Period. And so, yes, because you have a level of influence that Brother so-and-so doesn't have, the PAW or a Catholic church or a Baptist church or whatever, instead of moving you to a different church, they now need to hold you accountable. Why? Because Brother so-and-so doesn't answer to me, but you, who I pay because you're on payroll, because those big associations pay the littler churches who pay the pastors. So now you, who are under my cover, because I'm the bigger organization, now needs to make sure that I go with this parent and get them the counseling, make sure that you are held accountable to do whatever you have to do.
And there's make sure that individual doesn't get back into another church.
And that's not what's being happened. And so back to your original point, is does the church really want to talk about it? And do they really want to handle it? Because it is the job of their covering, of the PAW and of the, and of all those people, to where if this is happening, you now need to do that stuff. Now, does that alleviate? No. I hear what you're saying. Like, I agree. Like, no,
Nobody's,
right.
The people people don't say anything because they have their own skeletons in their own closet, and so you start to point the fingers, and especially when you're dealing with somebody, when you're dealing with somebody with a person,
power as well.
Okay.
Right. And
when you're dealing with when you're dealing with a person of power, that's why you don't see all these people turning on Trump. Because they're because Trump, before he became a politician, he was a businessman with all these politicians. He funded their super PACs. He did all that. He knows the skeletons in their closet. So they don't turn on him, because if they turn on him, he's unveiling everything.
But that's the
problem. So that's what I'm saying is the same thing. That's why nobody wants to do anything in those settings, because a lot of the people who are in it are complicit. And so I said that as well. But what I'm also saying is that people, when you have a certain position, they're ready for the witch hunt. We could even take it past a priest. We could take it to a Bill Cosby or a Michael Jackson or whatever. Before the facts are all out, everybody wants to see you crucified because of your actions. But in reality, what did you do? And so that's what I'm saying. What do you live by? When we're specifically talking about a church and we're not talking about society, why are you holding the people's feet to the fire when we should be holding your feet to the fire? And that's the purpose of all that, is to where you let God do that. You know, and obviously what is done in the dark will come to light. And you see, there's people who get caught up for that. Now, everybody don't get caught, but everybody don't get caught speeding. Everybody don't get caught stealing. Everybody don't get caught doing everything that they ain't supposed to be doing. Yet you still did it. And that's all I'm saying. Don't be so quick to crucify somebody else when you just as wrong. You know, actually find out what's going on. Because guess what? As unpopular as it said, people do lie too. So let's not be like that. We hear something and we want to jump on the train and say automatically that's what it is. Like, come on. What happened to due process? What happened to knowing till the facts come out? What happened to all that? No. It doesn't happen.
I can tell you about that.
It doesn't happen. It's all about Salem witch hunt and all that. But guess what? We can turn the witch hunt right back on you. And that's all I'm saying. Watch who you witch hunt for, because you could be the hunted too.
But you're talking. What you're saying is that don't hold. These people don't. But no. What I'm saying, no. But this is what the picture was. Right. You're saying, don't go pitchfork towards that person
because
I could have my own pitchfork mob coming at me, which is fine.
No, what I'm saying is hold your judgment until you know. But what we do is we don't know. We just jump on and we hop on the witch hunt.
But at the same time, we can still put that person aside. They should not be in a position of power anymore until we figure out, is this true? Is this false? I didn't say you did. What I'm saying is that a lot of times they get to go somewhere else until this case is resolved, until something happens.
A lot of times there's no case, because what people don't understand is a lot of times the churches just let them move on without pressing charges.
That's just like cops investigating themselves.
No, that's not what he said. Hold on. We're not going to do that.
Investigate themselves.
What he said is they move on until whatever whatever charges or whatever legal situation is over. What I'm saying is most of the time there's not a legal situation, which is why if you do run a background on these people, they're squeaky clean because nobody said anything.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it, is that the church shielded them so much that they don't have a record. You can put somebody in a different position and say, hey, until this case is set, and then the person ages out.
It's because it doesn't reflect the pastor, it reflects the church. And that's what people don't understand. It reflects the church. So the pastor can move on, but people are always going to remember the church's name to where the action happened. That's
in all organizations.
But there's a lot of people who still go to that same church that their kids were molested at.
Yeah.
Because they're already. What I'm trying to say is usually if that's the case, it's harder for the church to grow past that point with that stigma over it. If somebody says, you don't even have to know the name of the pastor anymore. Somebody say, oh, I heard kids got molested at that church over there. Pastor could have been long gone.
True.
And so I'm playing devil's advocate right now. I'm saying that may be a reason why a lot of people don't say anything, because they know the blowback that it comes. Let's just handle PR. Let's get them out of here. Let's not say anything, because people are going to think that it's us and not him.
Like we're okay with it.
Exactly.
And that's in turn, if they get him out. And
in turn, it bleeds over into if he goes somewhere else. Which
not just that, it also brings people not to God, right?
Well, yeah, of course. That definitely gives a black eye in the kingdom of God. Yeah. You're right. I mean, but in reality,
they do it in all organizations.
That's my original argument is I believe that we all, have our moments to where we give the kingdom a black eye.
But I think that's a good point, because does the kingdom of God suffer the same black eye from when a Catholic, all the stuff that happened with the Catholic priests? Mm-hmm. Who looks at that as a black eye versus when, say, black pastor of said church does something else over here, do we still consider it a black eye versus the church? Because I feel like depending on who you are, depending on what sin you think the church has committed to, like what you attribute to. So if I say, hey, if I'm looking at a Caucasian family and they're like, oh, I don't want to ever go to church, something happened with this, oh, it probably was a priest. But if I see a black person and they say, I won't go to church again, my mom or such got hurt by a church, some.
Usually most of ours is they feel like they family member put all their money into the church and didn't get nothing out of it.
Some
And,
kind of a
you know, the
church
pastor was
Yeah.
driving
And-
nice cars,
and
nice
the
suits.
church
all that
hurt
type
was
of stuff,
different.
Creflo Dollar.
But do you think it's the same? Like, how much is it? How much does it weigh differently that church hurt? The one that said, "Hey, so our family got touched or molested or something, or they did something else." Versus black people, most of the time, it's like, "Hey, they took our money, or they took my mama's house, or something like that, or the pastor did something else." Like, I feel like the hurt culturally is different.
I don't think you can ever beat God, so I don't think it necessarily sets back the king. But I do think it makes our work harder.
Yes.
And so it's like it creates a double work for yourself. It's like, say you're cooking in the kitchen,
Which is why you got to separate the predators from the sheep. You got to shield.
I hear that.
You have to get rid of the predators.
I hear that, but
because it's supposed to be a safe place.
But a lot of times you got wolves in sheep's clothing, so they have to reveal themselves too. So that you have to be able to recognize it when it's there. But even back to
but they don't want to take action is the thing. They want to shuffle these people around once they find out that they are doing dirt, and that's on them.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had lost my train of thought, and I was
can't
about to say,
believe it, boy.
I was about to say it's not important if you lost your train of thought, but it came back to me, so it is very important. So I was gonna say you can't beat God, but it's I was saying the cooking theory, like, you know, somebody who cooks in their personal home, and you can tell the next day, you know, on what type of person they are, because if you cook and eat more times than not, your kitchen ain't gonna be clean, because you put all your energy into cooking, you relax, you've ate to like redo the energy. It takes so much more work to do that. So even if the person does do that, they're so much more exhausted after doing it, they usually go straight to bed because you've overworked yourself. But now if you cooked and then you cleaned up real quick and then you ate, you know, you still have a little bit more energy or reserve to relax afterwards. It's like creating extra work for yourselves. So I feel it's the same thing when things like this happen in the church, when you have molestations or mismanagement of money and all that. It just makes more work for the saints to be able to go out and speak to people who aren't saved, because what they see is the missteps of the leaders of the church, and they base the church and they base the whole religion or the whole spiritual outlook on the missteps of the leaders that are humans. And so it does make a lot of work, because you do have to help people understand that in a lot of times in this walk, you have to have blinders on and not look at the mistakes of other people, but, you know, your own walk. And so, like I said, it's just a harder task.
But knowing that was what you said. But knowing that, wouldn't it give more credence to now be able to say, yes, but we held that leadership to the fire? You're right. There are hypocrites. But what our organization did, or what my church did, is we sat him down. And now he's or now he is doing time at It wouldn't it cause more to be like, you know what, you're right, you did, but because we value our children, or because we value whatever, and because we actually do this walk that we say we do, this is what we did now to leadership, because we know that you guys hold them in higher esteem, because even though we know that, you know, we're all equal and they're not better than, and they're here to help each other, even though there are teachers, because there's supposed to be like a level of reverence there. We held them accountable. And so though I do understand and agree, I'm just saying that it gives us more credit to be able to say, yes, you're right. There are hypocrites. Pastor so-and-so did do X, Y, and Z, but this is what the church did in response.
Right.
Because we are told to put them to reprobate mind when they cut up. We are told to cast them out. I mean, in the New Testament, they say, well, there's stories that tell us to, we send them to reprobate mind. We send them out to church. If we do things biblically, there are steps in place that we're supposed to do when people cut up. The issue is now, as a whole, we're not, because we don't want to lose membership, because we don't want the blowback, because we don't want, people deeming hypocrite and all this other stuff. So, yeah, but no, if it would give us more credence if we were to actually stand. You know what? You're right. Pastor so-and-so at church X, Y, and Z did do that. And what we did is we took his church from him. So-and-so was now in charge.
But then I can say,
but why?
But then, and so.
But people who don't want to go to church are going to find an excuse regardless.
I know. I don't think. I don't think it's.
They don't want to go. They're going to find a way out of it.
Who don't go to church. I think there's people who don't. Because see, church is built for you to establish, to strengthen your relationship with God, and for you to learn more about God, and for you to become more
in fellowship
aligned
with another
God, and more intimate, and and then you also get to understand more people who are like-minded with you. You get to see a lot more examples of how He works and things of that nature. I get all that, but. And I think that it's not about people who don't want to go to church. It's about people who are afraid that they'll become a victim once they go to church. And that's the thing. See, they say forsake not the fellowship. And see, we think forsake not the fellowship because people aren't going to church yet. What we're doing while we're in fellowship is also forsaking it as well for those people who are looking for fellowship. And so with that being said, I don't think it's just always, and because I know for myself, it took me a long time to come to the church, and it wasn't because I didn't want to go to church. Right. I had my own personal relationship with God, but I seen the things that were going on in churches, and so it was like, I'm not finna be a part of this foolery. Absolutely. It wasn't until I got to a place to where they helped me focus on my personal relationship to Him. Right. It didn't matter what everybody else was doing in the background. Right. You're gonna be held to what you gonna do. You gonna be held what you gonna do. As long as the ship is going forward, I'm with the ship going forward. Right. And that's just what it is. And the thing is so many people don't look at it like that. So many people just look at the church, and so many people just look at learning about God. They don't even look at their individual walk. They group it together with the organization, and that's why.
But that was a lack of teaching. So we have to remember how Christianity got to us. Yeah. And so now that was a lack of teaching, and now we're coming into this place where we're now learning that. But you have to remember back when a lot of
if you could read, I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you could read,
study to show yourself approved.
If you could read,
that's
see, that's the thing. We're always looking to an imperfect creature to teach us perfectly, and that's not. I think it's lunacy. It's lunacy. Yes, they can give you much more. They might be into. They can give you a little bit more. But for them to know how to do this perfectly, what would we need God for?
We're not looking for perfection.
That's the thing. Is that of course, every generation lacked in something, and that's the job of the next generation is to figure out where we lacked at and to pick it up from there. And so. We do so much blaming of the past generation instead of just picking up the reins and saying, how do we progress it? Forget what they did and forget the mistakes that they made, because they're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes that our kids are going to eventually look at and say, why did they do that?
You don't think we're in the process of doing that?
Obviously not if we're complaining about it, because you can't go forward and complain at the same time.
Hold on. Yes, are we complaining or now acknowing?
We're complaining.
Okay. So me bringing it up was a point of acknowledging, not complaining.
To my knowledge, we are all believers, but we're talking about people who are unsaved in my mind. Right. They are not, but they're not. That's who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Because at one point I was that.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I'm talking about. I know and I hope everybody else here knows that. You feel me? I hope everybody else here knows where they stand and that they walk as individual. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those who don't, because at one point I did it.
Right. But again, it goes back to now teaching individual relationship and teaching all this stuff. And so like
the text says it. You don't have to, nobody will have to. If you study to show yourself approved, it tells you. You don't need anybody else to tell you that. It tells you. Just like they go to World Star, just like they go to Snapchat, just like the kids go to Fortnite, just like everybody go to Facebook, just like they go to Twitter, and they find out everything else. That book can let you find out just as much information as you find out from all them other outlets.
But there's a lot of stuff that's been revealed as we're getting older that we need to focus on, that we need to change, that the past generation didn't focus on.
I just said that. So
or didn't even have.
Literally said that.
But
No, but
even
you-
with that, but
every generation is gonna miss stuff. The next generation picks up.
Yeah,
We're
'cause
gonna
they
miss
have-
stuff.
they
Our
have
kids
more
are gonna pick it up.
tools. They
Our
have
kids are
more-
gonna miss stuff.
But we
Their
can
kids
still,
are gonna pick
but
it
we
up.
can still
That's the
look
way
back.
it works.
But we can still look back and say, "Oh man, they missed that. That was crazy. They missed
Right.
that much.
Right.
so now
they
let's do
missed that
better.
stuff."
So now let's
There's no
fortify
telling how
when we were
much
weak and
they
get
left
better
out.
to go forward.
Also,
yeah.
unspoken,
Yeah.
or not just unspoken, just unrevealed.
Right.
We
Like-
we will forever for our whole entire existence be trying to figure out and understand just the essence of God. For our whole entire existence. I'm talking about once we're all, this fleshly part is gone and you sitting up there praising the hallelujahs and worshiping the rest, you'll still be trying to figure out the essence of God. None of us will ever have it figured out. There's so much that we're going to miss. Focusing on who missed what is a distraction of how do we go forward. It's not about who missed what. It's about what is missed and where do we go. I don't care who missed what, because guess what? Just the past generation missed something, somebody before them missed something. Pointing the finger at who missed it isn't the essence of it, because we're not perfect beings. Everybody's going to always miss something.
But I think you
Acknowledging
can.
something was missed wasn't pointing the
But
finger.
no.
Just
But
saying,
no,
missed
but
it,
by
let's do better.
by trying to figure out who missed it is pointing the finger.
But
just knowing that it's missed is all that's needed to know.
But there is context in who missed it and why. But that's not
There is
saying we have to
solution in those
we
things
have
as
to
well.
blame them. We're not saying we blame them
Right,
and they,
it's
like
your fault.
like you're right in saying we shouldn't castigate. We shouldn't
That's the way it sounds like most people do.
beat the. Well, that's what some people do. But at the same time, you can also look back, and we can also look back and say preachers in the 50s and 60s, they and hard and didn't teach the congregations
Right.
what they were supposed to be teaching. They showed them some things, but they didn't show them other things. The reason why, but look,
somebody under their tutelage was like, you know what, something here is missing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they added,
And
then somebody under their tutelage said
Yes.
something here
That's
is
all we're
missing.
saying
And
to
then
do.
they added.
But
But
all
they
we're
didn't say, you know what, check this out. You know what, this dude right here, he don't know
But we
what he's
can
doing
also
right here.
look. We can also look
But that's
why
how
we.
that's how he was.
No, but
wording it,
I'm saying, no, I'm
trademark
saying,
and stuff like
no, I'm
that.
saying,
It's
but we
not-
can look
y'all
why.
ain't-
We
y'all
can
don't
look
get it.
why
I know
they
Trey
did
knows.
that. Him and
Trey,
Han.
That's why he got a little smile on it. He words stuff. a
No,
certain way to do
no,
that.
exactly. Because I was
No,
I was
exactly
I was
what-
building.
I know what
to,
you're doing.
I was building to it because we can look why they hemmed and hawed and got us to that point. And as the people under them were like, "Oh man, we missed this. A, we missed C, B, and D. They only did A, B, and C because of this, and this. The context of where they were, when they were, how they were, what they were, and where they were is vitally important as to what's moving on. That's why whenever they talk about history does repeat itself. Yes. But it's also in the clues of history why history repeats itself as to why it will again. Just like if we went to another planet.
The people who teach you, you may tell you what they need to teach you, and this is all they really need to teach you, is that if you believe in God, you are an extension of the Bible. That's it. When people look at you, they should see Trey, chapter 1, whatever it be, because your life should exude everything that is in that book.
Okay.
Okay.
So then with that
So-
being
so-
said-
That's
time out.
unrealistic.
With that being said,
No,
With
that's
that being said, all the information that is in there, you can get for yourself.
Okay, but
But how will they know without a teacher? And
Yes.
it says that in there too.
and it also
and it
says,
talks
also
about
says in there,
prophets and pastors
and also says
and
in
all
there,
these things.
and also says in
I knew
there,
that. I knew all that before I even had anybody. to
but
teach
it also
me.
says in there, it also says
from sitting in jail reading the Bible. That's where I learned it at. Nobody taught me, and I eventually got a teacher that eventually groomed me.
But
all my teachings came from studying myself.
But also, it also says in there that you are
like
more accountable if you are over a flock.
Mm-hmm.
If you are shepherding over people.
We already talked about that.
No, but that ties into it. That ties into when your people are learning.
We definitely are.
When it ties with when they're learning, that's one of the things that if you are a priest, you learn that you are more responsible.
God, Nas X do something
He
this week.
just said it
Boy,
himself.
shut up.
He literally just said it himself. You are an extension of God if you believe in him. Thank you. The end. Move on. Priests should be held accountable.
What's wrong with Charles?
Even more accountable because their position, they believe in God. They're an extension of God. Okay, so why are you doing the things you do? Yes, there's temptation, but let's get it together.
Because even if you look at
And then the organization should be held accountable as well. Because if you miss these steps, there's something that you're not doing.
right,
It's natural to be held accountable because, like me, I was pregnant as a teenager, so they sat me out of the choir because they didn't want other little kids my age thinking, "Oh, she gets to get pregnant and still praise and worship over us." You know what I mean? It just looks bad. So it's just what it is.
That looks bad on the organization too. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, as far as them not supporting you.
Well, that too. I thought that when I was a kid too. Well, I still think it, but I understand kind of what made them do it. I think it should have been handled differently.
But that's where history comes
Yes.
in, because history can look at your situation and say, what we did for those girls back then
didn't work.
Part of it didn't work. We should not. Yes, we should have sat you down, but also we should have sat the boy down.
Right.
And also we should
never
have said, this is what's going on. Maybe we shouldn't have paraded the woman in front of the church.
Yep.
And-
Because that's exactly how I feel. Right.
You feel me? It was just a woman.
Wrong.
Yeah, and maybe we shouldn't. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should have supported you and then brought you back.
Right. I
To
feel like
that
there was a
point.
teaching lesson. I
Yeah.
felt like it shouldn't have been extreme, but
been more of a
hold
teaching.
me accountable for my decision, but speak to me. I'm a child. You know what I mean? Help me understand.
And
Even
be
though
there
it's
and
not-
support.
I think I'm about teaching
And be a
everybody,
support, yeah.
and teaching
Yeah,
everybody else too. I think that's the thing. Like,
Absolutely. But if
right
we-
now we have a show. We got shows Teen Mom and 16 and Pregnant and stuff like that. But at
If the
that
church
time,
would have more
educate
conversations
But I
about
think
sex, that
we
wouldn't
don't
happen
at
as
all.
often.
Yes.
So that's
Church
a
never-
whole
Church
different
turning
topic point.
but
Well, that's
talking
just
about
like
that.
education system. Not talking about critical race theory.
Well, I grew up Pentecostal. They
all
weren't
these
teaching nothing
organizations
about
don't
that.
talk
I
about
wasn't even supposed to come out my
talking
skirt.
about sex, hold on. But we're talking about sex in the church is counterproductive to their
Teachings,
It's
yes.
not.
Yes.
No,
It's actually very
to
productive.
their agenda. And their agenda is to be able to get everybody to believe that they can save it until marriage, and that's their agenda.
But if you
And
teach it to me, I
hold on.
can.
I get it. But if you start to teach sex to kids, they think
Kids
that,
get curious.
and
Kids
so that's
want to do
and so
things
that's
that they're
and
not
so that's
supposed to. So.
that's usually the reason why they veer away from it, because they feel like if we start to teach them these things, then
know
we'll
more.
start to have more of I get it.
I understand
no,
the
I hear
logic.
exactly.
It's not
No, I know what you're-
hear you. I
but
understand
that's
it.
what I'm trying to help you guys. I've been trying to tell you guys this whole time. When you're talking about people creating a system, of course, it's not going to be perfect. They're not going to lean towards what you want, because especially when they're making a decision that doesn't just affect your kids, but the mass majority of kids, they're going to make the decision that they best see fit. Not the right decision, the decision they best see fit. And as for the church, they feel continuously and openly talking about sex, unless it's condemning people over the pulpit, is not acceptable. But they want to teach you not to shack up, and they want to teach you to save yourself for when you get married. That's what they want to teach you. And if they're teaching you what a vagina and a penis look like, and what those two things do when they come together, they think that you're going to most likely do those things before you become married.
Right, but now that we understand psychology, and now that we understand child development, and now that we know better,
The church isn't into psychology.
right? And here's the thing: that's the problem.
Yeah.
because
It's the
and
problem.
because
I
we
hear
so
you.
badly
I
want to
hear you.
separate it. But here's the thing: God made us that way for a reason, and if we would study why.
Well,
then we'd be able to properly teach our children. And so, though I understand the
But we
logic, I
don't
do
live in a
understand
country.
the
We don't live in
logic.
a country that is allotted for that,
I
because the separation of church and state. So a lot of these things that we're talking about are happening on the governing side of things, not in the spiritual or religious realm of things. And because they're having the discussion on the governing side of things, the churches usually try to stay out of those type of things. Politics, governing is usually the things that they try to stay away from.
More of reasons why we should have open conversations with our children about
True.
sex.
Because-
But we don't have a choice now because it's so
now it's
mainstream.
so
Yep.
right, and so we need to have those conversations so we can keep them abstinent, and so if they do decide to do it, they could do it healthily, and they can do it under wisdom. But we're supposed to teach them.
We're not about to keep them abstinent. We wasn't abstinent.
Right,
But-
right, but
No,
but how
my
much
thing
more
is-
informed
my
would
thing
we
is-
have been
my
if
thing
they
is-
would have talked to, or
my thing
parents would have talked to us first,
Yeah.
and church talking
Yeah.
to us
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
so, though I understand like that's not something that they don't do, but they should.
You tell
Especially if you're telling me not
kid,
to.
Don't touch that. That's hot. What do? They touch it because it's hot.
Right.
You tell a kid
But
don't
now-
have sex to save yourself. What they gonna do? They gonna have sex.
Regardless,
it's not about-
It's just about educating them.
Correct.
Letting them
And
know
about
what's
those
the
things.
outcomes of doing this.
Right.
That's why we teach them
Preventing
about
them from doing it.
No,
You
it's not
can't
gonna
do.
happen.
You
That's
know
all
what
I'm
I
saying
mean?
is to
You know?
properly teach now healthy
That's it.
sex, healthy mindsets about
That's it.
sex. Because when you demonize something like the forbidden fruit,
Yeah.
when you now demonize
Yeah.
something,
Definitely.
that's what they're going to go to. And so that's all I'm saying is now
That's-
if you take a healthier approach, and now if you teach. Now you have to find a youth leader or whatever to go study this stuff. So now we offer a purity class at my church, to where now they can have a healthy dialogue with their students, where they can now create avenues to where we can now
I just
talk
think there
about
has
this
to be a
stuff.
Because
I think there has to be a transparency
Absolutely.
level in the church too, because a lot of
And
times we're
trust.
teaching these kids ways of things to do things ways that we have never done them.
Right.
True. That's why
And that's
Telling
why
them
we-
to do things that we
didn't do
did
them.
not
Absolutely.
do.
That's why the 2000s and the 90s purity movement crashed and burned.
Right.
Of course.
And did more damage than good.
It did more damage than good
Start
because
finding out stuff about your parents. Like, what you mean? You
Yeah.
telling me to what?
exactly. And if they
Mom
had,
was a freak league. You talking about what?
if we
Right.
had, if they could have looked, us looking back now is like, okay,
How do we do better?
how do we do better? And also, what was I thinking doing that when I know, just like with Dare, us looking back at Dare was a failure. And the reason
was
why
it?
Dare,
I love Dale. It worked for
I
me.
love
no,
Dare.
you
Every
loved,
word.
but
It's-
Dare was a fail. Dare, they
yeah.
proved it.
Reggie
Dare,
Ray was
Dare,
on point.
failure
I
to
love
the-
I remember
that
reading an
officer.
article
No,
on it.
yeah, Dare has been proven to be a failure.
I took
Then
Dare-
they had the
first
wrong
time I
word
took
in
Dare,
school. I love
8
Dare.
years old. I took Dare till I was 10. I started smoking weed at 11.
Oh, glory.
Really?
Yeah, this is Dare.
Dare was fun because it was
That's
stuff to
how
do.
Dare
We got a
was.
T-shirt and everything.
Right.
But if you, if,
I think
the bear
that's
came
like-
to, the bear came to my school and
Yeah.
everything. Oh, yeah.
Then you just weren't listening.
Yeah,
No, I did a whole,
I love
did
it.
a whole
I love
Dare
it.
skit in 6th grade. They came to my school. They had to do. We actually did the Friday scene, and that's what we did. We did the Friday scene. You ain't got no job, but instead of Smokey smoking it, he didn't smoke, and that was our little thing, right? But yeah, I mean, by the time
Our Dare officer was more of a mentor.
yeah, no, they just
And
came
I loved
in.
it.
Ours as
Ours
well.
was just performative. They came
Yeah,
in and it was
that
just
was-
like,
it was-
oh, we did Dare at this school. The
See,
bear
ours was
came
more of
and
a
the police
mentor.
car
He was
showed
there
up, and it
way
was
too
cool.
often. He would just pop up. It was almost like having a father figure. That's how much he
I don't
was there.
remember it
shame.
too much. I think they had an assembly or two, and then
Oh,
they left.
Really?
I don't remember. They had like an assembly or two.
We
and then
knew
that was
ours
about it.
to
I don't
high
remember.
school.
Sometimes they have like
I
did it.
still have a Dare.
Sometimes they
shirt,
have a
and
cool-
I-
they'll
yes,
bring, like,
they
a
need
cool
to bring
cop
that
car.
back.
Yep, they had
I
a
think that
police.
Dare
We
was
had
good
they
for
had
my-
Dare.
I
Well,
do.
I
For
mean,
myself, anyway.
in the in the grand scheme, yeah, it would have been good, but also would have been good, just like the abstinence, if they had said, "Look, drugs might this person that looks like a drug dealer, oh, they look like they got a lot of money. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind that. The drugs might make you feel good." Instead of saying, no, you're going to kill yourself the first time you do it.
No, what they did was they fried the egg and was like,
Yep.
this is your brain. Crack, this is your brain on drugs. Man, that fried egg look good. You feel me?
It made you hungry.
Yeah.
You totally forgot conversation.
Instead,
They just had bad analogies back then, and technology wasn't there. Now
instead
it
of
is, so they can
Pancakes and
step it
bacon
up.
now.
instead
Like,
of
what you talking about?
instead of getting them to realize the benefits of what their life would be on versus off, and the benefits like of going forward and being and staying away from drugs and whatnot, and that people are going to peer pressure you, and people think it might be good, it might be a good time to relax, but at the same time, different things would have worked differently versus just pouring a bunch of money and saying, "Hey, the bear."
I mean, if you
It
lived
was
in
cool.
the hood, you had Dare. You was like, you know what? Check
It-
this out.
it was-
Don't feed. I don't want to be like that. You feel me? And that was it. That was Dare. It was like, okay, you feel me? Not smoking crack.
And all
I'm
the
not
drugs,
doing heroin,
all the
I'm not
drugs
doing
got
any of that.
lumped into one.
Not being like that.
But Dare now would be tough because weed,
It's legal.
like weed's legal, so you'd be like,
So
It's right down the corner. Like,
Right. Like my brother got some in the backpack, you know.
In certain places, they can legally inject you up to before they legalized weed.
It's not
Nobody was
legal,
saying that
though.
when they was legalizing opioid spots where they shoot you up in safe places,
Right?
whatever,
I
give
thought
you
that was
needles
weird.
and all that, so you get high legally. Nobody's saying nothing about Oregon where you can walk around like a zombie right now, where it's literally Thriller. Nobody's saying nothing about that. But they want to attack something that could grow out the ground. Get out of here, bro.
no, they're talking about both. They talk about both.
They was talking about both.
Yeah, they talk about both. I don't necessarily agree with what's going on in Oregon, but
Oregon's a different place.
I know.
Peace out.
That definitely-
All right, so this is what we should do, and this is why I don't like the discussion about weed, is because if you don't know anything about pharmaceutical meds, it's terrible for your body. Yet we'll tell people to take depression meds, blood pressure medication. We'll tell them to put all the medicines in their body, but then you smoke that weed. Yeah. I'll tell everybody, shut the hell up. You want to believe in God for everything else, but you don't believe he could deliver you from that blood pressure. You want to put all that in and you think that that's really helping you. All it is buying you time. Because in reality, a chemical, because now it becomes a chemical-based diet when you become on medication. So now you're chemically altering your body, something that somebody made in a lab, that you consistently put in your body, and you think that that's okay. But we will condemn people that put something that grows out of the ground naturally and say that's the devil's lettuce. Well, we ain't saying nothing, but that's the devil's medicine.
They put stuff in weed too,
Regardless on what you want to say, people want to make that argument. But y'all been on medications for years. So what I'm saying is we pick and choose the things that we want to fight.
No,
but in reality, that's way more detrimental to somebody's body than this.
I think that's fair. That's a fair
Yeah, we
point.
picked this to fight
That's
against.
all those
Bull.
That's a fair point. But then you got some people who will point against that. Will talk against weed and will lump it in with tobacco. And will say the same effects. Look at you. See, look at you. Look
Don't
at you.
even go there. No,
I
you're
can-
absolutely right.
and I
Tobacco
can- I
is an
can-
addiction,
now that
and
one-
it is bad for your health.
I can get that. I can get that argument. But to group it in with drugs and all that, I can't get that.
But
argument.
weed is too. Just because it's natural doesn't mean that it doesn't cause anxiety, that it doesn't cause
So
paranoia.
are we putting alcohol in
Doesn't-
that group?
That's what I'm saying.
Just checking.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People pick
If
and
we're gonna
choose.
lump them all together, we
People
putting alcohol in
That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. People pick and choose
Them all.
like even in reality, like before weed was even legal, alcohol's been legal for all these years. We have so many alcohol related deaths. Nobody's saying ban alcohol.
They did.
Nope.
They did in the 30s.
The prohibition.
20s,
Don't be
30s.
trying to.
But come on now.
people to do that
But that's what I'm
either.
saying.
like, first of all,
Nobody's.
yeah,
But that's
I
what I'm
know.
saying though.
Be
Nobody.
easy
But
here.
see, look at
Okay.
that. Nobody will go after that. And that is way more detrimental to society and the human body. But yet we'll say, you know what? That's okay. You keep the alcohol. But they will.
That's because they're supposed to be psychology.
it's
It's supposed to be used in a healthy way.
But who uses
You're supposed to
the
be
amount
able
of
to make
DUIs,
these,
the amount of DUIs that are caught, the amount of people who die
Yep.
die in alcohol related
and
deaths.
those people
motor
with
vehicle-
DUIs have consequences. Those people who
How
hurt
many
people while
how many people you know
drinking
got
and driving
high
have
and ran
consequences.
somebody over? How many people
I
you
don't
know got high
I
and
know-
drove and went head on collision with somebody at a high speed?
I don't
well,
really
if you
hang with a
smoke
lot of people
marijuana,
who smoke
it's
weed.
also
I know a lot
considered
of people who
a
drink
DUI.
because alcoholism
Of
ran
course
in my
it is,
family.
but that's what I'm trying to
That's
tell
why
you.
I was scared too until I was 27. I was like, I'm gonna wait until I'm ready, so I
Or I
know
think
my
I'm strong
limits.
enough.
You know,
Yeah.
No,
it scared me too much.
Does anybody here argue against weed?
that's what
do
it
you mean
sounds like.
against?
Yeah.
No, no, I don't. I think it was just that. I think we were talking about Dare, and they had said,
No,
and he said that they had
Trey
looked
beat
weed
Trey's-
and everything in the same bucket. I don't think anybody is. I mean,
And that's why I was.
What do you mean?
We're not.
I
No,
know,
my
we're
son
not
has
disagreeing.
Crohn's,
When I
and they had him on a
separated-
Yeah, but
multiple
at the
medication,
time-
that they're
and I would
all
have
together.
rather have had him do something
They're not
like
all together.
marijuana.
Yes, marijuana, I don't
just
care if
because
it's-
I hated all the
natural
pills.
or
It was-
not.
He had 20 pills a day.
It's not
he
all
had to
together.
take and an
It's
injection.
still
you know what I
not
mean?
Right.
So it's a
completely
lot for a child.
here
so
for
I
your
wish
body.
they would have gave him something more natural for a child.
Yeah,
That's
like
a lot of
naturopaths
medication.
yeah,
Of
holistic-
course,
holistic
they're not
medicine
going to
or something
offer
like
that
No.
because they don't get paid for that.
That's
Right.
exactly.
Right.
See, that's the thing.
'Cause it always
See, big
happens to the money.
pharma.
Right.
That's where
Right.
we going. Big Pharma makes so much money off of medications. So, of course, natural things and natural way of living isn't the way to go.
It's all evil. We shouldn't be taking nothing.
You cool with your straw tray?
With that,
Yes,
I don't even take aspirin.
I do aspirin. That's
I don't
it.
take aspirin.
I was scared of pills, everything. Okay, look.
I don't take.
I was scared. I grew, we grew up in the church, so they had me scared of everything.
And do not come up
I
out of
didn't
there.
grow up in the church, but and I have my days. You feel me?
Well, not only did I grow up in church, but I was the youngest of 5, so I watched all my siblings mess up. So I was the good kid, the straight A student, president. And I was like, I am not. My sister, I had a boyfriend. My sister snuck out to go to his party. I was like, I'm gonna be at home. I'll let you know when mom pull up, so you can hurry back. I'm like, it's.
Yeah.
You were less riskier than all the others.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do all
I
that.
feel you on that.
I like to watch
Let
mistakes
y'all
happen.
do all
I'm
the
not
drug
gonna do all
taking.
that.
I'm just gonna watch and see y'all all fall because I ain't doing it.
I grew up with crackheads around the corner, but they could fix everything though.
Good, but a crackhead in the house, he ain't fixing
Irving. I still remember Irving. Irving could mow the lawn. Irving could fix something on the
called
car.
Wash
functioning.
your car.
He could do everything. He could do everything.
Oh, yes.
He could do
He was a
everything.
$10.
functioning addict. That didn't mean that it was healthy.
True.
No.
There's functioning alcoholics. There's
That was
functioning.
my father, functioning alcoholic, went to work every day. I had to almost pay him to come to our wedding. He was like, baby, I gotta work. I was like, Dad, you haven't taken a vacation in years. I know, but they need me. He worked in the medical field. But I'm just like, you are seriously functioning with this mess because he
There
came
are
here and went to church
functioning,
with me. He put vodka in a water bottle. He's like, baby, they ain't gonna know.
Well,
I said,
tell you
dear
like this,
God.
there's some people. There are people who feel like if they stop working, they'll die. And it's a real thing, and it's really happened to people.
Well, body emotion stays in motion. And so when you don't work and you have nothing to do, like my grandpa, I don't think he works anymore, but he actively
Does
outside
stuff.
in the yard. He's
Yeah.
helping somebody else's yard. Man is in his 70s. But he insists upon staying busy because of that. Well, if I don't, and I sit home too long, eventually, your body starts
Breaks
to
it down.
It breaks
and
it
that's
down.
why
That's how my
people
mother
try
goes.
to.
She's 78.
Body
She's
emotion
somewhere
stays
driving
in
around
motion.
right now, running my brothers and sisters around. She's like, I
gotta
can't
be
stay at home.
preemptive.
I
And
can't.
my grandpa could
I'm like,
probably
Ma,
outrun
nothing's gonna
him.
happen if you
People
sleep
plan
in.
their next act like retirement. What am I going to do in retirement? Some people try to live. Most people try to live their best life in their retirement. Go explore.
I'm trying
And
right
guys
now.
pick up older guys. That's why they picked up golfing and all that type of. Stay active, keep the joints active because once you just sit down and watch Mari and Judge Judy all day, it's over.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's true.
You gotta be
Why you
preemptive
gotta
with
put
your
Maury out there like
your
that?
health. You gotta take
Papa.
care of yourself. You
Papa.
During
gotta
COVID?
Yeah.
All the
Papa.
try
reruns,
to
probably.
learn as much as you can
Right.
about nutrition. And
Find your daddy, Maury can.
you can fight most of this stuff before it. You can fight
said Papa.
a lot of the negative effects of like
Aging.
aging with good diet before it even happens. As long as you take good care of yourself and don't abuse too many.
And jeans.
And do
Jeans,
lots of drugs.
Okay.
Very
Yes.
important.
Drugs.
Yeah, I got good genes.
Sir, what?
Man.
Drugs.
Do
My mom,
Lots
my
of
mom
drugs.
smoked crack for like.
Shut up, Trey.
How old is she?
Wait.
She almost 70. My mom smoked crack for like 60, 70 years or something like that. She pushed it strong, so I know I got good genes because I ain't even touched it. So you feel me? I should be able to live till I'm like 100 or something.
Boy.
Like that, 'cause she-
If you live till you're 100, me and God are gonna have to have a conversation.
You know what?
I'm pretty sure if I live till 100, he's just done a lot of work with me.
God, you let that go on that long?
Actually,
Like,
tell you the truth,
Right.
I think if
He wasn't ready for him to get up there yet. He's like, I'm gonna give myself time.
Did that? I think if I live to 100, I've made a lot of mistakes. So if I live to 100, he's got me still around here for a reason.
That's right.
He ain't ready for you yet. He's like, I'm gonna give
He
myself
said,
a
I'm
break.
not
Yeah,
ready.
he's like,
Nah,
y'all
Go ahead,
stuck with
stay
them.
down there
Yeah,
a little
right.
longer.
Y'all stuck with them.
He said, you see that down there? Oh man, you
Looking at some folks,
definitely
y'all know him.
I know. I know.
You know
I
him
know.
too. You've been dealing with him.
Okay, on the
You
third
knew I
topic.
wasn't ready.
On to the third topic. This is the one I've been wanting to talk about all week because I've been reading a lot of articles and stuff about it. Conservative, black conservatives,
Black
and
conservatives.
what'd you say?
I love black conservatives.
Well, and the thing,
I'm
well,
not a black
because
conservative.
I was just
just
gonna
love them.
say you're not.
well, because
Right.
because of the one,
for certain.
the black, the female, huh?
Oh, you talking about damn, what's her name? I can't
Candace
remember.
Owens?
Candace Owens.
No, no.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the one, the lady who won the lieutenant governor position in Virginia. She's black. She's a mom. She's a army vet. She's
Doesn't mean anything. No, I mean
she's got a couple of things in her
From
that
power.
that ticked off, and she's a conservative. And so I want to say, why is there a problem like with black people?
There's not, because we like Colin Powell, so I mean, it's a certain type of conservative. There's a certain type of conservative that we don't deal with because we love Colin Powell.
Yeah.
So I think it's, and when I seen the question, I thought of it's the ones who are conservative, but they back the rhetoric of somebody like a Donald Trump or somebody who backs somebody like that. So we have a problem with that because we're like, this person, and you know how we feel about him, and you know how he may feel about us. Why are you so like a Ben Carson? Somebody, what is wrong with you, Ben Carson? Like, my man called you Frederick Douglass. You feel me? Like, what you talking about? Like, you feel me? Like, come on, bro. Like, but you'll back him to the end of the earth. So what's up with that? You feel me? Like, why can this dude talk down on us, but you are okay with that?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a problem that we have with black conservatives. But I don't think we have a problem. I think we have a certain type of black conservative, but I don't think we have problems with black conservatives.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, because I think you're right. I think it's like the person. It's more of the person than what their political stuff is. Because if you call out certain things, but you're still like, hey, I'm a conservative. Like, I believe in certain things. Like, I believe in limited government. Like, I'm okay, whatever. That's fine. But if you're like, if you're silent on things, if you like Candace, I feel like at a certain point, PragerU pays her good money. The companies that back her pay her good money for her to be this
ignorant.
Yes, and at a certain point, it's. I feel like
I think with her sometimes it's a lot of show.
It is.
I think it's. I know you guys don't like me, but like you said, people are now paying me to be this front runner, and so So now I'm going to do this front runner thing.
She's a whole
louder.
actress.
Yeah.
Right. So now it went from I believe in some of these policies to I believe these policies and I like to fight you. I believe these policies and I want to argue. And now I believe these policies. No, my dad is a Trump supporter, and he.
Excuse me?
Correct. And so, but
Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus.
Listen,
Right.
but he's a driller, and so he works with the majority white. And my father is a Trump supporter, and so sometimes he does things to spark argument. You should come over. Sometimes he sparks things
Maybe not.
to spark argument, just to spark argument. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like
Right.
even with Candace
Make
sometimes,
that
I just want to start
Friendsgiving.
argument,
Yeah.
and we just be feeding into it, and we just be mad. But like you said with the Colin Powell example, it's like no, it's absolutely a what kind of conservative are you, and what are you saying, and what are you standing for? Because at this point, you're now being a face of something to spark argument. Like I said in my case with my dad, you just hollering at me. I mean, I ignore him now, but you're just yelling to yell because
That's
you feel
the
like
new
you want to be
conservative.
heard.
The new conservative
And
is a fighter.
Right, and that's the issue. And I'm like, a lot of their policies aren't. If you guys actually read what's being said, a lot of the policies aren't all that bad. Or if you guys actually look at what they're saying, pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And so I think
with that point,
A lot of
you have to
conservatives don't
pay
have bad
attention
ideas.
to what
Right.
They
they're
just have a bad delivery.
that's it.
Yes,
you have to pay attention to what they're doing, like with Trump, like with anything, with any kind of organization that you're going to try to back. You look at what Trump did with all these Hispanic children, taking them from their parents, deporting their parents, and imprisoning them.
Right.
Yeah, and then trying to play matchmaker.
Millions. of them.
Right.
For the grand total of $750 per child, millions.
Oh yeah, because that's what they. I know that number because that's also what they charge for inmates in
Yes.
prison. I just know it because I was an inmate.
So they just made another private prison.
Inmate.
Yeah, but if you look at, like you said, like if you look at what they're saying, some of the stuff is on both sides. Like the conservatives have gotten more, they've become closer to like the more right wing, like super right wing. They're closer to real liberal, like left wing people because it's like, hey, but if you look like Colin Powell, he was conservative, but you would call him a moderate now. Like you call him more moderate, like you right of center, but at the same time you would say he was more in the middle of certain things. And I feel like the country, for lack of a better word, we've gotten more left, like either way, like on the issue left or like way right. And people like Candace Owen, she'll talk all the way right, but then like when it's something like public, I'll never wear a mask, and I've never gotten anything, or this is not that.
Or why do you make George Floyd a martyr?
Exactly, but
Polarization.
Yeah.
We're talking
yeah.
polarization.
But
between sides.
but when you have
Because
a
she wants to be. That's why.
exactly. But when you have a conversation with a lot of them, then you start to see, oh well, you don't really like, you just like you're screaming that, but you don't really know the consequences.
It's all talking points.
Yeah,
It's all talking
Trey,
points.
what's her name again?
Candace Owens.
Candace Owen.
Is your name Trey? What is her name?
Candace Owen.
Okay. Owens. I just want to
Is
say,
it Owens or is it Owens?
Talk about Candace like that, you better put some
Is it Owens or Owen?
Owens.
Owens.
No, I'm
Owens.
just, yeah.
Light skinned.
It don't make
Yep.
a difference. We all know
You know, you guys always got to be so.
I wasn't going to
We
say
got
it.
lighten some mood up in here sometimes.
Thank you. Because I wasn't going to say
Man.
it. I was.
Here
I
we
was
go. Here
doing
they
it.
go.
I was like, cool. I seen it. I was like, all right, you feel me? I'm gonna
I
let her
already
live.
did the high
'Cause
five.
She brought the Sour Patch Kids and the orange soda. I was like, I'm
Okay.
gonna let her live. To see another.
He said he won't go get no smoke today, so.
Well, thank you for that.
Smoke
He
signals.
even gave me a high five
Right.
instead of telling me I'm light skinned.
Yeah, nah, that was cool. You feel
that's
me?
some
I'm
white
with you.
people
But you just killed it.
Nah,
you killed it. You
she killed it with the Candace Owens thing.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna move to the last thing.
Yeah, we'll move to the last topic. I honestly, with this one, I thought it was funny because I'm on the other side of this.
That's not funny.
I'm on.
not funny, bro.
I'm on the other side of this because the last topic is: can athletes be trash humans, or do they have to be perfect on and off the field?
They gotta be. They can be trash humans. They're humans.
Humans are trash.
But
You already knew he was going to say that. So
But
let's
I'm
hear
gonna,
somebody
no,
else's,
no. But I'm gonna tell you this though. What do you expect when you give somebody with no life experience millions of dollars and then tell them to figure it out?
That's it.
True.
Entertainment.
That's it.
Well, that was a
Right.
quick topic now.
No, because-
we
no,
all agree on that.
No, but I
one.
think.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's it. No, that's it. Because you have to remember first, some of these young men, since I want to say male sports are usually the talking points. So some of these young men they're fresh out of college. We're talking 18, 19, 20. Y'all have no life experience. A lot of y'all came from the hood with single mothers, and this has been your guys' story. So y'all don't know how to budget. Y'all don't know how to do a lot of this stuff. Y'all are all most of flunking out of your classes because of your practices and everything else. So you wouldn't learn nothing in college, and now we expect you to come up out of these situations and be these stand-up citizens,
Right.
and that's not no.
Well, and some
And that's just not the case a lot of times.
And
It's
most of
not.
them don't even actually graduate college. They just go straight into
Right.
the
They just go straight to the NBA.
NBA or
They did a
But-
year and a half, 2 years, and now we expect you to know something?
And
You
the-
didn't
and
even
the-
do well in those two
Now
and a half years.
we'll say in the NFL.
We're not talking about
we'll
that,
say in
though.
the NFL is a lot different because you do have to go to school for at least 3 years.
I didn't know that.
But
Okay.
the NBA is
But
one
you,
and
that
done.
doesn't
But,
mean that you.
but now the NBA has different routes too, so you don't even have to go to college now. So you can,
Right.
But yeah, in football, because of the body makeup and whatever, the impact they do recommend you go to college for 3 years. Now you don't have to go to college for those 3 years. You
But
can
still
sit out
puts
the
them at,
3
like-
years, but then you have to be a certain age.
Yeah, at
to
least.
play in the NFL.
Yeah, yeah.
That's still like, what,
But
20, 21?
22, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you are releasing somebody with a lack of life experience because even in college you've had to live a sheltered life experience. And so you have no real life experience. You probably don't even know how to balance a checkbook. And then now you have to go from not even knowing any of this to somebody else handling all this. So that even enables you more. So if you've never had anything, if you get a Corvette, you're gonna drive 156 miles an hour in a 45 mile per hour. You're driving with a loaded handgun, and you done had a couple
Oh, you gonna
drinks
have all that?
with your girl. But that's what I'm saying. That's what happened.
Because you have a
But
lot
that's
of
what
life,
just-
because
that's
you
what
do
just
have a lot of
recently
life
happened.
experience, but it's not good life
Yeah,
experience.
because-
It's not
because the reason why we're having this
conducive
conversation is
life
because
experience.
Henry Ruggs did just that.
But what about the athletes that are in their 30s? What about the athletes that have their life experience, that have done all these, that have the whatever you need, and then they still do these things, and are we like? But should we? And I think it goes back to the priest thing because they have such it's a different platform.
Okay.
That's a different platform.
I'll tell you like this. Ask a pig to climb a tree.
They can't do it.
Of course. So what you're doing is, even if
on either aspects, like the house.
but what I'm trying to say is you're asking somebody to do something that they don't have the tools to do. So if I unleash you as a kid and I give you millions of dollars, even if you stayed out of public's view for so long, that doesn't mean that you've matured. I haven't given you the tools to mature. I've just given you this and say, figure life out. You know, how many of these, some of these guys, some of these guys haven't even, don't even go to class. Some of them were having people taking tests for them. When I was in high school, I wasn't doing homework sometimes. I was going to sleep in school, in class. And I was still passing because I played basketball. Like, it happens. And that's just what it is. These guys have been, when you go from being the best person in elementary to the best person at your middle school to the best person at your high school to the best person at your college, people are not holding you accountable for anything else. They just want you to win. They want you to produce. And so we're taking all these kids that all we've been asking of them is to produce athletically. We want you to produce your athletic talents. I don't care if you know 2 + 2. Just catch the ball. Just shoot the ball. Dribble it. Juke somebody. Run somebody over. That's all we care about. And then we want you to be savants when it comes to life.
But to your point with the older ones, when you start looking at some of these who've now, you've been playing basketball for 10, 15 years, I have expected you, because you blew your first couple million in your 20s, because like you said, now you've come out of college, you ain't know nothing. So now that you've been doing this a little while, I've expect you to learn a couple things. I've expect you to now to learn to invest. I've expect
them to, but all they know is X's and O.
Right, at 2021, but at 30, you've now been doing basketball for 15, 20 years. Now, does that mean you need to be an expert at all things? No, because like I said, humans are humans.
Somebody told me this story about OJ, and somebody who personally know him played college football with him.
At this point, all you have to do is hire somebody. They're making enough money.
Most of them do hire PR reps and all that type of stuff.
Not just that.
And accountants and everything else at this point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I said, so in your 30s, I expect you to. Now that
mentors.
you've blown
What should I
everything
do?
at 21 and 22, and you've been doing this 10 to 15 years, like a Brady.
They are
Who's
not thinking for
Brady's
themselves.
white, but the counterpart.
was like,
But who's been doing this for a while. Now I expect you to now have. Oh, I've done all this, and I've been the butt of the joke on the press, and I have lost, a couple mil, but now I've gotten my mom out the hood, and now that I've done all this, now it is time for me to hire PR. Now it is time for me to hire an investor. Now it is time for me to do all this stuff because I've already.
Yes.
You should.
You should,
but you could be.
Bad
You could have been. You could have
publicity
been.
for some of them. You know what I mean?
But your
They don't care if
maturity
it's good or bad.
could have been stunted too, and that's what I'm trying to get people to understand is that
Who cares?
that some in regard. That's what I'm saying is that's why we're saying is the topic. Can you be a trash human and be a? Yes, you could be a trash human because your maturity could have stunted somewhere, and you don't know how to be a regular person in society.
That's it. No, if somebody doesn't come up to here, let me help you.
Yeah.
Then yes, you're going to be. I mean,
You just
yes,
put everything
because people
down
are
the
people.
trash.
Some people are people.
hard work.
That's what I expect you to learn
don't-
it, but that's only if now a manager, a
you
mom,
have
a
all
aunt,
that
and somebody's
money-
come to help you get
There's
it.
only
But
a
if you
few-
have all that money, you can find these things. You can
If you
pay
know
for these things.
But what we're
if
not,
you
what
want
we're not
to, right? That's
understanding
what
is
I'm
if you
saying. So
look
I
at
don't-
it, there's only a few of these athletes that have figured it out.
Right.
We're talking about, at this point, we're talking about thousands of athletes, professionals. We're not even talking about college. We're talking about thousands, hundreds
So
of
are you
thousands.
talking about
at a
males
time.
and females though? Because
Me-
women have to pass classes in order to move on.
Well,
Women
hold
have to
on,
in
hold
order to
on.
move
Women's
Well,
sports don't bring in as much money, so
but
they don't
it
have
doesn't.
the
So
example
at
of
the
the
same
past.
time,
But they have a
hold on,
higher
hold on.
standard,
But it
though.
doesn't have. They don't bring in as much money, so it doesn't have the same eye on it because they have their issues too. Because they got trash people in there too.
Absolutely.
So it's not. We're not negating that. Right now what we're looking at is who has the biggest eye on them and who is the biggest draw. And right now, those are the people, the professional football players, basketball players, baseball players. So those are where the draw is at right now. And yes, they're going to be trash people more times than not because everything has been handed to them their whole life. They have not had to be held accountable. They have not had to do any of these things. So if that be the case, yes, you're going to have trash humans in these sectors of society.
Right. People are people. People are people regardless, no matter what your pay grade is.
Yeah.
No matter what you do. I said I would hope that you would get someone to come take you in, or that you would learn to do some of these things. But again, if you don't, people are people.
Usually you're isolating yourself from people because of what you have.
Correct.
By that point, they had the means to fix any of their problems if they so wish to.
Right. There's because you could pay a fine and get them.
And their friends aren't finna tell them right from wrong because they just trying to get in that pocket, boy. Stay in the pocket.
Which is the problem.
And they
Better
should.
friends. I'm gonna need us. Better
Right,
friends.
exactly. Because I tell my friend all about himself all the time.
Better
You know
friends.
what I mean? Like,
I don't care how much money you have. I need you to get good
Yeah.
friends, good brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Who are going to love you enough to tell you
Somebody.
that I need you to get it
When
together.
you're
Somebody tell you
messing
when
up.
your poop stank.
Come on now.
For real.
And that's hard to find.
That is hard to find. Because you got
need
people.
more
who-
Geminis in their
but
life.
we also don't know the ins and outs of people's relationships. We don't know the favors that some of these people owe people and why they keep some of
Absolutely.
these people around. Like Jalen Rose, for instance, when he was at Michigan, he hung out in trap houses. I
Yeah.
mean, he was arrested for being in the dope house playing Madden or something like that. Like we don't know who these people know. We don't know what people have invested in these people to get them to where they at. Maybe bought them their first pair of sneakers. Maybe was sending them on trips to playing AAU tournaments. We don't know. We seen what happened with Chris Webber with Michigan. He was taking money from Booster because he didn't have money to put in his car. Well, we don't know what he's done for that man since he's got to the NBA because that man was giving him gas money and doing all this extra, helping him pay his rent. We don't know what favors they owe people, and with that, we can't judge the character of those people that they owe favors to. But they have to understand that these people are connected to them too. So if somebody's connected to you when they do something, it's just as if you did it. And a lot of times they fall under the influence of these people because they feel inferior to them, even with all the money. You know,
Probably bad because I already expect them to be trash humans because they don't have to hold up any certain standards. They get to do what they want to do. They
You
get
don't
to
have
live
very
their
few
life.
of them. I don't think
Because
Russell
they're
Wilson's a
covered.
trash human.
No.
You know?
I feel like
But
then it's case by case, and athlete
there's
by
case
athlete.
by
But,
case.
I mean,
It's
by
You're gonna have a few of them. You're gonna have a few out there that stand for something.
but then we have to look at that home situation, like you said, what
Right.
happened and where they're coming from. I mean, depending on your environment, is going to decide what kind of a human you turn out to be, which now is going to dictate what kind of athlete you're going to be, and what kind of a role model you're going to be, or what kind of a, you know what I'm saying, and who you're keeping yourself around.
Your
and,
actions.
Right.
You know, your actions and all that. I mean, all of that feeds
What are
into
you
it. I mean,
susceptible to?
you
Your
said once
choices.
trash is not always trash. You know what I'm saying? But
Are you gonna use God's greatest gift?
Yeah.
That's enough.
Your choice.
That's
Do
quite
not
enough.
start,
is a
bro.
What made me ask this
That's
question?
a wrap. So on tomorrow's show,
Oh no, like
What-
Trey told me, you can't say what's going on and who's gonna take subject and who's gonna end the show.
Trey.
What made me?
How about that?
What made me ask this question is because it wasn't the dude. It was the accident, dude, who got into the accident. But it was also the Aaron Rodgers
Stay
situation.
home next week.
And Aaron Rodgers' situation made me really ask the question. Like,
Oh, he's really trash.
and like
He's really trash. White trash.
What do you do?
Just to-
Aaron
He
Rodgers
just blatantly lied.
He
blatantly lied. He used his white privilege.
Yeah, he lied
all
about
over
he
it.
lied about being vaccinated.
Are you vaccinated? Oh, well, I'm immunized.
that was like, did he say he was vaccinated? Did he really lie?
Because I
Or did we
went to-
just, or did we not
I
pay
went-
attention
no.
to his words?
No,
Right.
he lied.
Y'all
He
didn't
lied
ask which
because he went-
vaccination.
So no, he went to Cal. So he think he the smartest person in the room. That's what it really is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they asked him, "Oh, are you vaccinated?"
That sounds
He looked
familiar.
around. He looked around like, "Oh, are these a bunch of dumb reporters? I'm immunized.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
And they
immunized."
ate that up.
They ate it up, and then he got COVID,
They all
and then they was like, "Oh, where's the Because then there's a procedure when you catch COVID for unvaccinated players and vaccinated players. Oh, so where's Aaron's? Oh, he's not vaccinated. Oh no, I was immunized. I was using like holistic practices and stuff like that to try to beat COVID.
That's hilarious.
Shut your white ass up.
He could have really messed up the league because
Bro,
if he had
you're
been,
sitting in all these huddles.
if he had been around people, if he had been around a little bit more people from the other team, would have had to cancel the game.
Well, the thing is what's
Oh
even
my
worse about it
gosh,
is
cancel the game
the week
that ended the
before.
world.
Oh, that's
No, that's-
we- do you
that's-
know how
that's-
many?
that's money.
Millions.
Dollars.
That's
I
money.
bet.
That's
But
billions
that is
of
their
dollars.
fault.
That's-
That's their fault for letting
his
these
fault.
players over here trample around and letting them be doing what they doing.
No,
So-
They chose that life, baby.
All right,
They want that money.
No, but see, that's the thing. That's not the other team's fault.
No.
Now Green
Not
Bay,
the other team's
Green
fault.
Bay, that's their
That's
fault.
their fault because they should have said something.
They are complicit in
No,
this.
not just say something. Confirm. Figure it out. That like they can't just go
Well,
off of
and
people's word at
see
this
now,
point.
and so it wasn't
Since
that
there's
easy.
so much money on the line.
It wasn't that easy. All right, I'll put it to you like this. Say you're in a relationship, right? And you cheat on that person, right? And that person accepts you back, right? Are the person that cheated is finna do everything that they can to show that other person that I'm doing whatever to regain your trust?
That's negative.
Right.
No,
That's a negative.
You can individualize that if you want to, but what I'm saying is normally in a situation, you did it right on yourself. Normally in a situation is that if that person really wants to try, in theory,
They should.
They
Did
should.
from the beginning. What?
okay, I'm only using it to compare it to the situation. So the Green Bay.
Well, this is a terrible
Green Bay.
analogy.
No.
Try something
No.
else.
I'm about to explain it. I'm not explaining it.
I'm joking, Mark.
So
Chill
Green Bay
out.
drafted another quarterback for their future. First round pick. You're not supposed to draft a first round pick quarterback if you already got a quarterback. It's blasphemy to the person you already have.
Yeah, right.
So Aaron Rodgers like, I don't want to play here no more. So this whole offseason, he been doing Jeopardy and he been surfing in California and doing all this other stuff. But so they had to woo him back into Green Bay. So they wooed him to come back, right? So it got to a point to where it was too many personal things. It's like, we don't want to do anything to lose him. So you have the choice of being vaccinated or unvaccinated in the NFL. You have the choice.
Yeah.
The ramifications are different. Now, if you're vaccinated, you have, I think, 24, 48 hours turnaround that you could have to get a negative test. If you're unvaccinated, then you have to quarantine for like the 10 days or
They
whatever.
still be testing them though.
They do test them. So regardless of if you're vaccinated or not, they still test you because vaccinated players have came up positive and had the same out. But the procedure is different because they're vaccinated. So he caught COVID. Now what happened is the week before, his receivers group caught COVID. So all the receivers were out for the game. But they were all vaccinated.
Yep.
So he must have been around them and then contracted COVID. And so then he caught COVID.
And he was all up and down social media for Halloween.
Yes, he's at Halloween parties.
Yep.
He's doing all this extra stuff. So
Photo shoots and stuff.
yes. And so that's
While
where
he knowingly was sick.
that's where then
No,
that's
no.
where,
Well, he didn't know he had COVID.
yeah, that's
but
where the question eventually that's where the question initially came from because I mean
And he knew he was unvaccinated.
he knew he was unvaccinated. He knew he had
If
COVID.
he knew, he wouldn't have been doing all of that.
No,
he
he-
cared about himself being unvaccinated.
But does that make him trash? That makes him
Yes,
trash.
That makes him trash.
But
That is all the way. Put the whole
but
person
does
in
that
the
make-
He
garbage.
didn't know he had COVID. I
Right.
mean, him choosing to not get vaccinated makes him trash.
No. Him
Him
not
knowing-
being upfront about it.
yeah,
Okay.
Because that's the thing. He's been
And then
asked if he was
trampling around like
vaccinated.
he has been
because
vaccinated.
Kyrie's been firm on his case.
Kyrie's been firm on his
Not
thing,
getting
and that's-
vaccinated, and that's the thing. So when you're not vaccinated, then you live to those rules of being not vaccinated, and you live with that. So Kyrie's saying, "I'm not getting the vaccine." He lives with that. So he was supposed to get paid $34 million this year. They cut it in half. We only paying you $17 million because you can only be available for away games. You can't play in New York.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
Which is gonna sit you down.
With Aaron Rodgers, he did not say. So nobody knows what the procedure is going to be. The NFL didn't know.
Yeah.
So the thing is now is going to be a whole bombshell because now your team is going to have to pay for that, even though they were complicit. But like you said, to me, it was just white privilege at his height. That's how I felt.
Yeah, because
You
he
know?
didn't want the smoke.
Because guess what?
He
If
didn't
it
want
was a
the-
They
black
didn't wanna
player,
deal with-
if it was a
you
black
wanna deal
player, I
with
felt like they'd have gave him they'd have questioned him to the nines and to figure out, oh, no, immunized. No, are you vaccinated?
Right.
Yeah.
But because he was a white dude, said immunized. Oh, well, he's smart. Immunized.
Yeah,
Okay.
They already
Exactly.
assume we think we smarter than them,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
would ask
He must
all
have
the
got the
questions.
he must have got the antibody treatment or whatever. Like it's probably
He tried to go in, and that's the thing about it. Also, that's what was like crazy. He tried to go in and tried to be like, "Oh, I did this thing and I did this thing. I should be good, right?
yeah. No.
I should be good, right?"
You know, did you get stuck in your arm with the shot? No, bro. Then you're not. Okay. Take
Did
your
you
10
get the
days.
booster? Did you get all those other things that they're telling you that you need as well?
It's gonna be bad for him. No, he's probably gonna get suspended.
How many?
And fine.
He'll be all right.
Right.
He's been playing a little while. He'll be
know.
all right.
Yeah, he did a little while.
But I mean,
The way his checking account
suspension
set up,
his suspension, he will be all right, but it ain't Like he's gonna get fined and he's gonna get suspended, and the checks that he get per game, he's still
gonna be eating.
Yeah,
He'll feel it. Oh,
Yeah.
he'll feel it.
He'll feel it.
He'll
yeah.
feel it.
But you're right. I think if it had happened to a black player, like with what's his name, Cam Newton.
Yeah. Oh, they was all over him.
They was all over
like
him.
white on rice. Oh, and guess what? Oh, he ain't got a job because he's unvaccinated.
He went and got vaccinated.
But that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
They were saying he ain't got a job because he's unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what the future looks like if he catches COVID because he'll be out for so long. So that was the conversation when the black dude with a personality
It better be the same.
was unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the white dude who cried all offseason said, y'all don't like me as much as I thought y'all liked me, can go on and say, you know what, I'm not going to get vaccinated. Not only am I not going to get vaccinated, it ain't none of your business whether I get vaccinated. And guess what? Just know that I'm immunized, okay? Whatever that means. All right?
Get everybody
All
sick in the process. Stays around.
Garbage. Put the entire person in the
Just
trash.
like the game, because guess what? I think they lost. I think they
did too.
they got smashed. So, you know, because Devontae's on my.
But
I'm mad at him because Devontae is my wide receiver for fantasy football, and because Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, I don't do good.
No.
And he did not do good, and they got waxed.
What I don't understand is if we got to get checked for our immunization shots, you got to bring your card to even get in the place anyway. Why aren't they being checked?
Are they doing that really?
Yes,
Yeah.
we just went
I've
to the
never
Seahawks
got-
game last week.
That's only in
And they
King
just
County.
only
in King County. It's not down here
That
yet.
means you don't go anywhere.
It's not in Pierce. Yeah, it's not in Pierce.
Hold on, hey, all
not
right.
in
So
Pierce.
people be thinking I be
In
lying
King.
when I say I don't go nowhere. Hey, real talk. I
He's
don't-
like,
I
wait,
don't
they're doing
nowhere.
that places?
I didn't know
Wait a
that.
second.
I didn't know they didn't really check.
In
I be
King-
having mine in my
In
wallet. but I
King,
didn't know
yeah,
they
I
really
was.
checked.
I went to the movies.
Let
They
me
did
see
it
real
in
quick.
King. They were like,
They checked it at the
the
movies?
movies. They were like, hey, are you
Boy, we
like
don't
here?
care if you
Your
bought these
card.
Marvel tickets. You going home today.
I was like, yeah, I'm vaccinated. Here goes.
Oh, wait, Trey got one
They
too.
also checked us at that restaurant we went to.
Oh, yeah, we just went to a restaurant in Bellevue
Everywhere in
yesterday.
King
and they
County.
Oh, yeah, everywhere in
What
King
was
County,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was cool.
It don't matter
STK.
if it's a store, a restaurant.
I was cool with it because I had my
a bar,
burrito.
whatever.
I had my burrito,
Right.
so I was like, y'all can check me. I'm about to eat. I'm about to
I
eat
mean,
this
you
pizza.
I wanted to calamari. I ain't no
You
burrito.
can still go get the Seattle hot dogs without your immunization. That's
Shut your mouth right now. If you
I'm
get the right one, you going to get
I've
jazz.
been waiting. I've been waiting for somebody to ask me something. Bam! What you mean? You let me in here right now. You feel
Dude,
me?
you don't even
Okay.
travel outside of Pierce County. You ain't
I don't
going
travel
nowhere.
outside my home, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying. When I do go places, I be like, "Hey, you feel me? I be wanting to."
Ask to check his car so he feels
Hey,
special.
Mark, come out this way. Oh, I fell asleep.
But I don't. I think
Hey,
some.
somebody mad at me right now. I told them I was gonna be in Seattle this weekend, and I did not step a foot past King County line. Hey,
He's like, I fell asleep. I fell asleep, though.
I ain't
Some-
going if I got to drive.
I don't think it's stopping people from going to places. Like,
It's not stopping you,
I don't think
Mr.
it's stopping.
Vancouver.
I don't think it's stopping people from going to places.
They're just
I-
going to
It
places
is
that
me.
don't ask them. Everybody's got this. Everybody's trying to finesse the system right now. So everybody's like, "Oh." I heard somebody who was like, "Oh, my job is finna ask me to get the vaccine. I'm finna quit, and I'm just gonna find a job that ain't asking for the vaccine." I said, "Good luck with that." But
Right.
good luck with that. You might be unemployed for
Yeah,
a little
'cause I
bit.
think I think Safeway's doing it company wide and all of them.
January 4th.
All the what is it? All the companies over 100 people.
January 4th. So you better get on now.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be losing some tickets.
Yeah, because
Or
it's
they gonna be
what are they gonna
are
put
they
it as
gonna
OSHA? I think that's what it is. The
OSHA
OSHA.
regulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OSHA done jumped
I
in.
don't care. I'm not.
OSHA jumped. Yeah, OSHA jumped in. Well, because first of all, Medicare and Medicaid jumped in first.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
now because everything that's connected to them,
They
workers have to be vaccinated.
They
for
said they were the first one because Biden was like he was like I don't
was trying
want
to
to.
put-
He was.
cut. He's already taking enough flack.
He was. Yeah, he was already taking up flack.
He's
So
already
he was
taking
like,
enough flack. His campaign ain't
He
living
was
up.
like-
to, they ain't
he was
living up. So
like,
he's like, I gotta do something.
I don't wanna
White
do-
folks
yeah.
don't want to get vaccinated. I can't. You
and
feel me?
Medicare was Medicaid was like,
County.
okay, like we got you, we got you. We're gonna do the opposite of what you want. Medicaid is like we'll push everybody towards this, and then OSHA is like we want in on the party too, so everybody's got to do it as well.
Gotta do it.
And so if you want the Medicaid and Medicare dollars, or if you want to do anything with them, you got to get it.
See, that's
So I'm gonna
why
tell you right now.
Government be
Even if it turns us all to zombies, you don't want to be the person who's not a zombie.
Right.
Because if you've seen a zombie movie, Like all the zombies
Mark.
are chilling. Everybody's kicking
I'm
it
with
with
you,
each other. The people who are the most
So you're saying
the people who are the most uncomfortable in a zombie movie are the people who survive. That's it. They weren't around. Oh my god, how we gonna get to the next building?
That's
And
hilarious.
somewhere out there it's a
like
zombie.
too
Somewhere out
many
there's a
movies,
zombie
bro.
that's catching somebody that
smell
survived,
you.
and he's saying, "Hey, you want some of this George? You feel me? Tastes good. You feel me? A little Charles inside. You feel me?
With little Charles.
Are
on
you
the-
guys? All of you guys are all immunized,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No.
I'm not
Well,
immunized. I'm
yeah.
vaccinated.
Oh,
Okay.
whatever.
I'm
Let me be
vaccinated.
clear.
Not
You feel
You're
me?
immunized.
You're not finna hit me with the Aaron
Okay,
Rodgers,
Aaron
okay?
Rodgers.
I am vaccinated,
Yes.
okay? I got stuck twice in the arm, okay, months ago.
Right.
I made it as
Willingly.
Willingly.
uncomfortable for the nurse as possible, as as awkward as possible.
They're gonna have to tap.
Wow.
me
Yeah, I'm gonna need
shove
you to
that
go
in
ahead
my
and
arm
stick that
for me
needle
to do it.
right there.
Really? So
I asked the
extra.
nurse, is it big?
Shut up.
You ain't right.
Yeah.
You ain't right.
Well, if you have C-sections, they put a needle in your back.
Let's not. I just have that
If
flashback.
But I think if we get
sometimes you get Novocaine, they put a needle in your mouth this long. You feel me? Like,
if they,
what
I
you
think
doing
if they,
with that?
if it does cause zombies or if it does cause something like that, like
You want to be a zombie.
you would want to be a zombie because
You
you
want
still
to.
go to heaven if you're a zombie,
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
you?
Alrighty.
Technically, you're undead. How could you?
Your soul. Zombies don't have souls. Once you get killed,
Yeah,
I
my
think once-
soul is gone.
Yeah.
So
Well,
this, whatever
is
this,
Whatever that is walking
because
around,
it just doesn't register. It's not even.
it ain't
just-
you.
So
It ain't you.
so if later on
It's a
the bodies
thriller
come up
Marv.
off the ground and they like,
Or,
oh,
or is it your soul still there and your body's just decapitated? I mean,
Oh,
because
no.
you got to remember they've never
Ooh,
they've never
that's a
said
good
that.
question.
So you've just said, so you've assumed. You got to remember we're undead. So is our soul still present and our bodies just can't?
Oh, we're undead. We're not dead. You're
Because
right.
zombies are undead.
So,
So,
you're right.
is your
So
soul
I know.
but you're just not
No,
functioning.
I just-
Technically,
so-
you're a vegetable.
No, I'm
moving,
just gonna keep eating.
But your
That
soul
was
is
a
still
horror
present.
movie.
I mean, I don't know. I'm asking.
I'm just gonna keep eating people until somebody kills me, and then I'll go to heaven.
That was
Right.
a-
I mean, yes.
that
But like you said,
theory
if all of us are
there,
zombies-
that wasn't a horror movie. That was in Living Dead. That were
Oh my
Zombies are caught in the
Yeah.
in between. They're
Yeah.
not over
person
or under. They're
person's
just
souls
there.
are stuck in their
Awfully
body
too
and
many
they're undead, and they can't get out. They
Well,
don't.
that
I don't
was
like
in,
that. Okay, never
I mean,
mind.
that was that.
I
What
don't
was the
like
one movie with John Goodman and Denzel Washington? And every time you bump somebody, they would sing that song. Time.
yeah,
Like that,
yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Well, that sounds scary. I don't
know
watch
what I'm
it.
That, yeah, no,
Scary.
yeah.
that was dope.
Every time they bumped it, yeah.
Every time they touch somebody,
the evil
it
went
was
to.
like an evil spirit,
Nope.
and they would
I don't watch anything
Oh,
scary.
And they
yeah.
would be, and they'll start singing this song. Time
That's
is
interesting.
on our
No,
side.
it's not.
Yeah.
That sounds scary.
So you want to be a zombie?
It was a dope movie.
Hey, I'm not saying no. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Nah.
I tried to watch the new
You made me think about it. I
Michael
don't like
Myers.
it.
It was trash. It was trash.
We didn't finish
Everybody
it.
said.
I didn't.
We got about halfway through.
couldn't.
Y'all left the movie?
No, he was sleeping. So we
It
went to
was
bed.
well. It was because they were trying to do this.
My
It wasn't.
boyfriend, I was watching that with.
They should have promoted it as we're doing a backstory on Michael Myers.
Okay.
They didn't really promote it as that.
We were in
So
a
it
movie
was a
theater
long
next
movie.
to, and people
It
were
was a
coming
long
out
movie.
like, "Oh my god, that was the worst movie ever!" Like everybody who came out was
'Cause it
saying
wasn't-
that. So I was like,
well,
"What'd you
because-
guys see?"
Because people
And
were
I was like,
expecting.
"Oh, I ain't
people were
going."
expecting the automatic
I wasn't
gore
going nowhere
and
anyway.
killing at the beginning, and it wasn't like that. It took a minute. I remember because I've been dating and stuff like that. So I actually went to go watch it with a chick. I went to go watch it with a chick. I figured she get scared. You feel me? I'll be right there.
Boy,
You feel me?
wow.
Now, I'm like, whatever.
Because he is the best
But
hater.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, hold on. Where are all the scary parts? It ain't even scary.
She ain't even in my lap yet.
Damn it, we leaving. We need to go to the other fucking
Like,
movie
yeah.
over
I'm talking
there.
about when y'all caught him the first time or whatever. Like, I don't care about that. You feel me? Like, it had a slow build up,
Did anybody die? Look.
Oh, it was a bunch of people who died, but the build up was so slow and the killings were kind of, there was a couple, like, all right, he was shooting. Like, he had a gun, he was shooting. I was like,
Wait.
what? Michael Myers is busting back. Like,
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. It was
didn't know that.
wild, bro. He was doing some wild stuff that Michael Myers never done before. It was
I can't
crazy.
see. I can't see any
No,
of
I
that.
can't either.
I throw up
I swear, I
throw up
maybe
from
I
the-
was tripping.
from the blood.
I remember I was tripping, but there was a point in there where he was in a police car and they was like shooting at a car, and he was like, bah, bah, bah. And I was like, hold on. Did he just
No, I can't take movie.
You want them patients that
I
we
can't
have to
take
lay
movie
down
blood. I'll
to
throw
get your
up.
shots?
Like, do you see Get Out? Who's seen Get Out?
Of course.
Yes.
Do you see the movie at the end where they were cutting like the brain and stuff? And it was,
Yeah.
I threw up at that part.
Did you?
I can't take movies. I walk out like first I get like it's a whole process.
But you be trying to watch all the movies.
Yeah, you do.
That's saying I can't watch them. I didn't watch Halloween. I ain't seen none of the Saws. There's some movies that I just
Yeah, I've
can't
never
go
seen
in because
Saw.
I'll literally
Spiral was right
I
there.
get
The last
like
one they did for Saw.
my stomach
I've never
will
seen
turn.
So
My-
mine does when people
I
talk
didn't either.
when people
So
talk
maybe
about
that's what caught me off
surgery.
guard, but-
That's what happens to me. Like if somebody's talking about getting a procedure done or something, my stomach can start to turn, my legs will get all weak and all that type of
Exactly.
stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that.
get
But if
my.
I see it in real life, it doesn't happen.
I get.
You can't watch Dexter then.
I get no.
Dexter
See, that's
good.
the thing.
Dexter's dope.
It's different.
Dexter's good.
I can watch
He's
Dexter,
American
but
Hero.
there's certain parts where I have to turn.
You gotta watch it, girl.
I can watch a
It's
zombie
good.
movie. That's crazy. I can watch a zombie movie, but I can't watch certain things like a
Did
horror
they make
movie.
you
I
close
can't-
your-
I kills
Did they make you
killers.
close your eyes the whole time when you was growing up when scenes like that came
No,
up? Is
because
that
I
why
had
you queasy?
no
You never
because
seen it before?
no. I just
But
would
he
step out the
Brings
room.
that into his food stuff.
I would
too.
step
Like,
out.
he
I would
gets
step out of the
all-
room because I had family members. They loved horror.
Yeah,
That's
me
all they
too.
watched was horror movies, and I'm like, yo,
I
I'm
don't-
sick.
Everybody in my
Think
house
it's
love
about
me.
I
the
can,
movie,
I can
though,
never
Trey.
fathom somebody like throwing
Anymore.
up because they seen
That's
something
right.
in the movie. It just
I had to
doesn't-
tell
it's not
Chris,
good to me, but if
none of
it's
that
good
in
to
my
you,
house.
it's
That
good.
bring the
I
devil. You
don't
ain't bringing
throw
the
up,
devil
I
into my
watch
house.
it. I
People
always
killing
kinda wait
and that.
and then go back to it. And
I'm
kinda
just
wait
scary.
and then go back
That's
to
it.
I thought
Not
it
bringing
was.
the devil.
Shut up!
I
It brings
like
spirits.
it all.
You're not gonna head people. That's what I told Chris when we
This
moved in
is-
because he
I
loved
just-
horror.
I
I was
just
like, nope,
stopped
not in my house, sir.
Finding entertainment with
That's
it.
right.
It's not
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
He
Well,
said
not
what he
just that.
did was now
I
that he
started
has children,
hating
he
it because-
imagined it was his kid.
Yeah,
I
when
said,
you're a
"Thank you."
teenager watching this, you don't really care. But when you become a father and you see these people, these young kids getting butchered, you're just like, oh, I want to just.
hate a bully.
It makes me go into an entirely different
It's like
mindset.
a father and
Like
mother.
I want some smoke. Okay, come on.
That's what you mean. Tell you what's funny is my favorite horror movie is Halloween Resurrection with Busta Rhymes in it. and it was
Yes.
because Busta Rhymes and Michael Myers had a fight. scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that. I
loved
watched
it.
the fight scene.
That
That's
was
it.
good. That was good.
Just because it's busted.
Nope, haven't
He didn't care. He was
Yeah, I
going
don't
in.
know. I ain't seen that either.
was
I only
dope.
saw one with my sister when I was a little girl. My sister would make me sit at the chair,
The one
and she'd be
before
like,
that,
"You're watching
H2O
it. You
with,
think I'm gonna let anything happen to
LL
you?"
Cool
I'm like,
J.
"I'm
He
still
didn't go
scared
down.
to sleep."
Right.
No.
Because we gotta go to bed.
But yeah, he was going in.
I can't do that.
I definitely watched it.
But we're about to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Hit us up, like, share, subscribe on everywhere a podcast is.
Who am I gonna yell at next
Spotify, Apple, on YouTube. Peace.